for you?
Welcome to the asylum, Mr. Loomis. My assistant Leonard will take you to your new home.
Oh yeah, they will take you somewhere.
first.
15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11.
Hey everybody, it's me, your old pal Big Ugly Jim. Uh, uh, Welcome. Bean venue, as they say in France. I'm here. I will be doing my usual awesome job of streaming to ones and ones of people. I'm a small streaming Andy, lefty, general mess of a human, Gen X, way too old to be using this technology business, but here we are. Yeah, so welcome. It's good to be here. I hope everyone's well. I hope everyone's doing great. Me, I got no complaints in the world. Got a good sleep last night. That's important for us old timers. My Kids are fairly all right. I guess that's my new normal, where you're like, I slept good and the kids are all right. So that's awesome. I did play a gig this week, so I guess that was pretty fucking awesome. I played a quick 3-song set at Rockin' for Dollars with one of my bands, Bodies of Everest. That was the band, the last video in my little intro thing that I did today. The song there is called Elevensies. That's one of the songs that we played. I actually really love that video because I made it, sort of. So the band is obviously more than just me, and they were obviously very helpful. But my children are outside being loud. They're 18 and 19, so when they're being loud, sometimes that's a sign of problems. But I think we're okay. Anyways, yeah. Where was I? Oh yeah, so we played the show. Elevensies, the video. I was the one that did all of the cutting and pasting of footage to make the video. It was pretty awesome. I really enjoyed that process. It was super good. Would do again. In fact, I have. We're working on a new video. We have another one called Sons of Sedition, which is all about January 6th and how ridiculous that was. We're working on our next video, plus doing a bunch of writing and recording. So that's kind of fun. And then one of my other bands is just getting to the point where we're starting to have almost a set worth of material. So we might start playing shows soon. That's called Go Away Fast. And then this band that I'm in called Dr. James Reddy, which is a fun ska band that we're playing a show next month with this really, really cool ska band from Saskatchewan, Mini Vandal, who are super fun. They're on tour. And we'll be joined by a band I saw at the Rockin' for Dollars called Alberta Rats. That's like a fun post-punk kind of vibe. I'm very stoked about all of these things, thus my rambling about it. Anyways, that's not why you came here. You came here for the hot and spicy takes about things. I don't know why the fuck people come here, but I come here because I like to babble. I seriously am curious what's going on with my children. Lame. Okay, well, I got coffee. For when the coffee's done, I have a very lovely lavender sour beer. I will enjoy that. The usual format is I'll babble for a while. Feel free to chat. There's a little chat box right here. You can interact with me through the power of technology. If you're watching on Facebook, that's a bit tricky because Facebook's API constantly changes, and the people who make the thing that I'm using for my chat just kind of gave up on it. So I try to keep looking down to see if there's any Facebook comments, but I do miss them sometimes. But if you're on Twitch or if you're on YouTube, that's the easier way because it'll just pop right in there. Yeah, so we'll do some stuff. First thing I wanted to talk about today is a phrase that I have come to hate, I think as most of us have, and that is the new normal. The new normal is such an annoying phrase. We started using it with the vid, as everybody knows. I'm not breaking ground with this. When COVID hit, we were talking about the new normal. And in some regards, that's an interesting thing. Because, so for example, I'm one of those weird people who still tries to wear a mask whenever I can. Not out of a need to obscure my face from the many authorities who are currently seeking to imprison me, because that doesn't exist. But more out of caring about the fact that there's still a pandemic out there, and now we have other things like this monkeypox, which I don't really know much about, but doesn't sound like something I want to get. The mask thing for me, even at the start of COVID, it was really weird seeing people wearing masks. I knew why they were wearing masks. I was wearing a mask. But it was weird because it was like you see that on the TV when, there's a SARS outbreak in China, for example. But we had never done that. I made it through H1N1. And I mean, like, the only preventative measures we did during H1N1 was like we had to wipe down our workstations every day. And most of us didn't. And that's because I was on a particular project where we were working in shifts 24/7, which was horrible. Okay, yeah, they're just talking. They're just talking loudly and weirdly. It was new and weird, but now it's sort of like a normal thing. Obviously, some people still rage against the whole mask thing, and I'm not going to weigh in on whether or not they're right or wrong. They're wrong, but I'm not gonna. That's not what we're doing. The new normal, I think, is perfectly expressed by something that I read today, and we're gonna look at that on the old interwebs. And let me get my browser tab open. And that's the wrong browser tab. Where's my browser? There it is. Okay, so we're going to switch the view so you can see what I see. And I'm going to paste this in here. So this is from The Guardian, which apparently it's my choice. Yes, I'm happy to have cookies. Please feed me the cookies, daddy. So global recession risk rising as economic outlook darkens significantly, IMF says. That's the International Monetary Fund. Fund. The outlook for the global economy has darkened significantly in recent months, the head of the IMF has warned, and the world faces an increasing risk of recession in the next 12 months. The commodity price shock from the war in Ukraine has exacerbated the cost of living crisis for hundreds of millions of people, Kristalina Georgieva said on Wednesday, and it's only getting worse. Inflation was also higher than expected, she said in a blog post. That came on the same day as the latest figures showed that prices in the U.S. rose at a 40-year high of 0.1% in June. Economists and investors now think the U.S. Federal Reserve could hike interest rates by a historic 1% when its board meets in 2 weeks' time. The Bank of Canada shocked markets on Wednesday. Go Canada. We're shocking. By raising its base rate by a full percentage point, while the Reserve Bank of New Zealand increased its benchmark rate by 0.5% this week, as did the Bank of Korea. Singapore's central bank also tightened its monetary policy on Thursday. Along with another expected move higher by the Fed, this keeps heaping pressure on other central banks to follow suit to bring inflation under control. With supply bottlenecks and repeated COVID lockdowns in China also crimping the world's patchy pandemic recovery, Georgieva said the G20 finance ministers and central bankers gathered in Bali face a global economic outlook that has darkened significantly. The outlook remains extremely uncertain. Think of how further disruption in the natural gas supply to Europe could plunge many economies into recession and trigger a global energy crisis, she wrote. This is just one of the factors that could worsen an already difficult situation. Now, I could continue to read, but I don't want to. So yeah, the new normal. We're back in a recession, folks. We're back. Yay. I missed recession. I obviously am being spurious, but only kind of a little bit sort of. As I said at the start, I am a Gen Xer. And if there's one thing we know, besides being home alone, it's recession. This is not a good sign. Recessions are bad. I'm not going to be all doomer-pilled here and cry about, won't someone think of the inflationers? Because that, I don't think, does any good for anyone. But I think it's important to sort of, be aware of this and think about what brings this about. So why do we have such huge inflation? Well, there's a bunch of fucking reasons. Not the least of which is the fact that there was a pandemic that still there is a pandemic that still continues to affect the global supply chain. But the granddaddy root cause is we're reliant on a bunch of stuff that we probably shouldn't be relying on, and we keep having a capitalism. Now, I'm not saying, if we lived in a perfect planned economy and Stalin was our strongman leader. None of that shit. I don't mean that in the least. What I mean is, we're doing this to ourselves because we keep this idea of the rich should probably get richer on virtue of how groovy cool they are. And the poor should just pull themselves up by the straps of their boots and get better at being not poor. Those are really dumb arguments as far as I'm concerned. And I mean, this should come as no surprise. I am a lefty. I am a libertarian socialist, which means unlike those who revere the Stalins, I actually like liberty. I just like liberty with fairsies for all. And our current system doesn't do fairsies for all. In fact, I would say we're really good at doing fairsies for very few and not so fairsies for the rest of us. That's bad. It's bad. I know Jeff Bezos needs all of that money. I know Elon Musk needs all of that money. I know every other Tony Stark wannabe out there. You know, like they're human. They have needs, and we have to respect that. But I don't. And capitalism is the ultimate problem here. You know, yes, there absolutely are supply chain issues. That would be ridiculous to imply that there are not. There are also issues around the finiteness of resources. There are issues around the global nature of manufacture. Right? We don't have here in Canada. We don't have a very large manufacturing sector. Manufacturing sector. And as a result, we are reliant for a lot of our manufacture on other countries. And I'm not saying anything about, they're bad and we're good or anything like that. But simply, if we rely on them and there's like an ocean between us, we have to have a supply chain to get us the things that we want. That's what that means. And it's harder to do when you've got to, go across an ocean. This is not the science of rockets. In fact, this is the science of economics. It's a very different monster. But that means it's harder to get access to stuff. Now, we've had a global economy for a long time. We will continue to have a global economy. Nobody is going to change that. I'm certainly, the end result of this stream will not be an end to the global economy, no matter how much I think we all wish it would just do that. I just don't have it in my power. I'm sorry. But it's a problem. We have a system that is set up where we allow for the invisible hand to distribute wealth. And what we're seeing is it's not very good at that. Economic power is modern power, right? We're far less interested in military power these days. And the best example of that is China, who I think is not our friend. And China, contrary to what people will believe about China as a communist country, China is like madly capitalistic and very, very content to do a lot of really, really sketch things. Right? People don't get reasonable wages. There's a million problems with China. More importantly, though, where was I going? Sorry, I'm half distracted by my children outside being all whatever the fuck they're doing. Focus. China has essentially, I remember what I was talking about now, yes. China has essentially like almost no military. They do obviously have a military, just ask Taiwan. But their military is much smaller than the US. I think there's something like, globally, there's like 6 non-Chinese soil Chinese army bases, whereas America has like a bajillion. And I think Canada has, half a bajillion because we don't want to be too big for our britches. China's very aware of the fact that controlling countries economically is far more effective than controlling them militarily, and far less costly. Right? You don't have to fund a military presence in a country if you can just own them outright. That to me is really problematic, and that's our new normal. Right? And in a million different ways, not just the fact that they own our supply chain, and that we're reliant on them for a lot of the goods that whether we think it or not, are not necessarily necessities, but that we really want. Things like this bad boy right here. Hey, speaking of which, I just got a message. Oh, and it was unrelated. I will deal with all of that later. It was not a comment. It was someone sending me a picture of some bases. Economically, we are hamstrung. So a recession is not a surprise. majority of the wealth on Earth is going into very few hands. So a recession is not a surprise. Inflation is happening because people who are in charge of companies, among many other reasons, people who are in charge of companies want to make more money. They like the Bezos model of being fucking rich. And I can't say I blame them. Our society is certainly organized around such a fashion that that means they're cool. I mean, take a good look at Elon Musk. Let's do that. Let's just pop over. And I'm totally going to be just being a jerk and like making fun of Elon Musk. Images. Why don't I do that? I can go there. Wow, I'm really nailing how to internet today. All right, Elon Musk. Let's just take a look at Elon Musk. Not one of the really bad photos, just like a typical, like this is a decent enough photo of Elon Musk. Can I push this button to make it bigger? No, that's just silly. That's Google Lens. See, I told you, I'm old. We will find this picture in a large format. I can't believe this is this difficult. I suck at internet. All right, whatever. Here's Elon. Everybody meet Elon. Elon, everybody. Now, oh shit, I'm not even fucking fading it off. Oh, hey, I am Canadian. Good to see you. Happy Saturday to you. Oh, and Sugar. Oh, the gang's all here. As resources are depleted, they also become more precious. Absolutely. There is some absolute validity to that, and the cost of getting to those resources becomes more precipitous, which is a huge thing that people seem to not really pay attention to a lot of the time. So the like smartphones, the old smartophono, relies on heavy metals that are finite, heavy metals that are difficult to get because they don't just. You can't just go to the lithium tree and pluck off a nice lithium and put it in your pocket and away you go. You have to mine for that shit. Hey, Luna C810 is now following. Thank you. Welcome to the stream. That's awesome. Missed a week, missed a lot. I think so. Yes, actually, last week's stream was not awesome. There was like nobody on. And so it was just me talking, and for whatever reason, I wasn't on my game, so it wasn't a great stream. I didn't clip it into a bunch of stuff. Yeah, it's in every smart device, things like lithium, and because it's a finite thing, we're kind of screwed. So, as pointed out by Sugar, the more we use it and use it up, the more we have to actually come up with better solutions, and we're not doing that. We're really good, and energy. Hang on, I'm going to switch back so you can see my whole ass body. Energy is a good example of how we're doing that, because we know that oil and gas is problematic. We know that it's not good for the environment. We know that it's a finite, limited supply, and that we've been relying on it for far too long. We also know that economically it is a method for which we can be controlled. It's kind of like if you have a boss who will make you do shitty things because he knows he can. Because you need that sweet paper at the end of the day, right? Oil is no different than that. I feel you. In spite of being double vaxxed and boosted and going on vacation, I managed to catch the thing. Oh no, I'm Canadian. I'm sorry to hear that. Definitely not the flu. On the mend though, woot. How many days in are you? My understanding is that the new variant, which is like das Uber COVID, it lasts longer. It's not awesome. So I hope you're feeling better. I still have managed to avoid all of the COVIDities, which makes me very, very lucky. Not happy. Well, I am happy about it, but like I am very lucky in this regard. Anyways, you know, as we use them up, oil and gas, the price just goes up. And we know that we need to get off of oil and gas, but the people who have the financial ability to get us off of oil and gas are the ones who are getting paid from oil and gas. And they won't do the things that are necessary to do that, because why would they? They're going to lose money. They're going to be all poor and stuff. If I'm correct in how many contain on what day, I have shares in lithium in if that counts. it definitely. I hope that you're making some money on that lunacy. You are past the worst of it then. Day 10, still not feeling right and still testing positive. Yeah, my understanding is when I say Uber COVID, like it's not as bad physically as some of the previous strains, from what I understand, but it lasts longer and it's a real kick in the ass. I don't think it's like as brutal, but I could be wrong. I can't even imagine how bad this would be if I wasn't vaxxed and boosted. Shudder. Yeah, I keep getting them little jabs and not complaining about it because it's a thing. Anyways, back to let's take a look at Elon Musk. So here is Elon Musk. Now, in this photo in particular, you can see he's not an unattractive man. He's a little bit, he looks kind of like a grown-up Richie Cunningham for people who are aware of what I'm talking about from Happy Days. Except that we all know that grown-up Richie Cunningham actually is like bald and stuff. But not traditionally a handsome man, not unhandsome. He's like a living Howdy Doody, which actually is probably more accurate. Not someone that you would think of as like an international sexcapade sex man with sex powers for sex, but instead just a regular guy. However, he has that power. He has that money. So all of the people that run businesses want to be that guy. Because you get to, in the words of the Scarface, first you get the power, then you get the money, then you get the women, or whatever. And that's, Elon Musk. We care about what Elon Musk says. Because why? Because he's rich. He doesn't seem to be particularly intelligent. He looks like a lizard. You are not wrong. You are not wrong. I was trying to be really kind and not like lizard shame him, but yeah, he definitely looks like a lizard. He is the base model of what capitalism is supposed to do in quote unquote in its theories. We're supposed to be impressed because he has all of this money and all of this power and all of this glory forever and ever. Amen. That's weird. I don't know why did I miss it? I'm supposed to have, when people send emotes, it's supposed to make my screen go all emoji bouncy. I'm just going to do a quick test of that in case it's screwed. And in that, if it's screwed, I'll just have to figure it out off stream. But we'll send some rhombuses. Some of the grand rhombuses. All right, and go. Do they bounce? They are bouncing on my screen. Maybe it was just me. He buys people. Yes, and that's apparently like the coolest thing. People seem to be really enamored with this Andrew Tate or whatever it is, the ex-kickboxer who's like a human trafficker for sex purposes, and is really smart and cool and will tell you how to be a rich dude bro like him if you pay him money. I swear, it's not a multi-level marketing scam. The extent of his contribution. Yeah, his contribution is he's a venture capitalist. He's like, people say that he's like Tony Stark, but he's not. He's like a guy who lends you money and then takes your house. He's that. And capitalism is like, oh, based. That's awesome. That's what we should do. We should have rich people who can succeed and have all kinds of great stuff. And I'm not opposed to that. I obviously am a socialist at heart, and I do believe in a different distribution of wealth. But I have no problem conceptually with the idea of somebody who is exceptional receiving greater share of the pie. I just don't think that greater share of the pie should be monstrously greater. I don't think that it should come at the expense of people who are not as successful, especially since success, in Elon's case in particular, isn't really tied to his merit. We like to talk about the word meritocracy. We're a meritocracy. We love our merit. But what fucking merit does Elon bring? He has daddy's money. Cool. I have daddy's money too. Unfortunately, my daddy had no money, so I don't have any money as a result. So I can't invest in big tech and become a cool, rich startup brew dude, right? Okay. I don't need it. Slept 36 hours straight, sore throat, headache, blurry vision. That's brutal. And that's the thing. The bitch about COVID is it hits us all in such weird and unique ways. My two kids got it, the two that live with me, one of whom was basically just exhausted for 3 days, and the other one really had no symptoms, and I didn't get a goddamn thing. To be fair, he has provided many Indigenous communities in Northern Canada with ISPs and the resources to run them. That is fair. His Starlink thing is, I think that's what we're talking about. And I do think that, that has been a net positive in some regards. And certainly has been not, it's a huge change from having telcos doing telco things. My understanding of Starlink is that it actually is pretty sweet. I would be stunned if it was his idea, because he's a venture capitalist, and his job is to buy companies and look really cool about it, and have really smart people working under him that he can exploit for their labor. But I definitely agree that there's certainly positives. There's positives that come from Jeff Bezos. There's positives that come from any wealthy person. Bill Gates, despite being a shitty monster pedophile creep, I'm streaming on a personal computer. Not even, I'm streaming on a laptop, but you know what I mean? I have a computer in my house. You can credit a lot of that to Bill Gates and to making computers accessible and usable by the masses. Clean water would have been cooler. Very, very valid. But don't worry, I'm sure Justin Trudeau is right on that. He's any day now, we'll see Trudeau fix the water problem. That's not going to happen. So a lot of people will make the mistake when I say that I'm a leftist to think that I like Justin Trudeau. No. Although I haven't seen his new haircut, but it's probably not far off of mine, except that I lack the care to make myself look good. Not sure yet, but this might help as they become more profitable. BC Corporation. Let's take a look at that, shall we? I don't know what we're sharing here, but I Am Canadian comes with the seal of approval. He's a mod here, so I trust him. No one likes JT. That is not true. I believe that liberals fucking love Justin Trudeau, and so they should. He's their guy. He kind of fits exactly what one would expect of a Justin Trudeau. Okay, let's pop over and take a look at the. You're more of a centrist, and that's valid too. I'm not. Lives on the left, he's a beautiful man. I'm not ever going to tell people, how to think. I tell people how I think. And obviously, I think how I think is right, because why would I think that if I didn't think that? But other perspectives are always completely okay and completely acceptable. The Immaculate Jagmeet. I'm hopeful that Jagmeet is going to be a good leader. I never trust in the glories of our leaders, because we have a system that is designed, just as it is designed to filter all money to the top and all power to the top. From a political perspective, I think that we have a system that's designed to be accessible to people who are no better than our eighth grade class president. And that's Justin Trudeau. I would vote for Jagmeet, given the current spate of people who are running, that are leaders of parties. Jagmeet would be my choice, but that doesn't mean that this is the world I want, is a world where Jagmeet is the God King Emperor, because I just don't think he's just not far enough left for me. Leadership matters. Look at the state of the Green Party after Elizabeth May stepped down. Yeah, I don't really I've never given much of a shit about the Green Party, and the reason is because the Green Party, to me, and maybe they've changed, but at least in Canada, the Green Party was very, very similar to the Reform Party, just with environmental stuff. And so to my mind, I've always associated the Green Party with being an ultra right party with just fiscally far right, but with social policies. That's entirely possible that I'm wrong. I have given up on following them because they just don't interest me. Elizabeth May I had respect for as a leader, but I never voted Green. I never wanted Elizabeth May to win. The Green Party is just noise. Yeah, I would agree. Except they're watermelons, green on the inside or outside and pink in the middle. That's a weird thing to say, but I believe you. I don't know how they're pink on the middle. They're certainly green on the outside, but I don't see a lot of.
Is Lisa cool to come in and get some water?
Yeah, it's cool though. I'm not doing anything, so you just go right ahead. Feel free if you want to do some construction projects. Now's the time. Extreme left and right are the same authoritarian assholes. I would say authoritarian left and authoritarian right. I think there's people who are on the extreme right who are probably not into authoritarianism, like supreme libertarians, not the kind of libertarians you see in the media who are like, I'm a libertarian. We should make drugs illegal and make it so women can't have baby abortions. That's not libertarians. Those people are just shithills. But yeah, I would agree in premise that the authoritarian left and the authoritarian right are the exact same problem. And I would say philosophically, and not wanting to sound all horseshoe theory on you guys, but there's a lot of similarities there. Authoritarian is a trait, not a political stance. It's part of the political, right? So, back in my days of being in social studies 30, when we looked at political and economic system, what we were talking about was the very, very basic idea of on the left, you have economic ownership by the masses. On the right, you have economic ownership owned by the state. Or do I have that backwards? I don't even fucking care. You get what I'm saying. And on the top, you have voting power by the people, and on the bottom, you have voting power by a small group. And so that's how you pick your quadrant, and away you go. Obviously, it's a little more tricky than that, but horseshoe theory and all of that kind of talks about how the authoritarians are. Do I have it backwards? I probably have it backwards. Like I say, social 30. That was I was 18, so that's like 8 months ago. Just kidding. I'm way older than that. And this is where politics tied only to the economy gives us bad left-right thinking. Definitely agree. That's one of the things that I genuinely hate about our current discourse on the topic of political leadership is we look at a guy like Donald Trump and go, well, he has a lot of money, therefore he must be a really good politician. No. We've seen that he is not a good politician, and yet people will continue to support him, even through all of his radical let's storm the Capitol crap, because they want an authoritarian. They want a strong man who will make the world a better place. And they can look at everything he did wrong and justify it, and look at everything he did right and use it as examples of his greatness. And then when you look at Biden, who I also don't like, you don't give him the same credit, and vice versa. This is not a right-wing thing. This is a people thing. Those who love Biden will see only the good and nary the evil until they have no choice. And that's how it works. Lefty's economy is X, righty's economy is Y, versus and social and environmental and other issues. Yes. Anyways, we're off the point. The point is Elon Musk sucks, and that's the new normal. So we're looking at a global recession looming, they're saying. I wonder if there are things we could do to get ahead of it. Well, there are. What is the net effect of a global recession? Well, it means that we have probably got massive job losses and salary cuts and all of the other stuff. That's not good. It means that a lot of people will become homeless. It means that a lot of people will struggle to make ends meet. It means that a lot of people will have trouble accessing necessary services. These are the things that happen in a recession or a depression. We can get ahead of that by trying to fix those problems. We could do things like supporting housing initiatives that are not designed for the wealthy elites. That might be cool. We can do things like increasing our access to public services like mental health or hospitals or things. That could be cool. September groceries are supposed to go up again. Perfect. I can't wait to spend more on groceries. Food is such a luxury item. My goodness. Why wouldn't I want to do that? As a single father. Crazy talk. It's here's the reality. Groceries are going to go up. Are grocery producers struggling? In some cases, yes, right? So we know that the mustard crop, for example, in France is problematically low. That means that mustard prices will have to go up because we're not going to have the yield as again, back to the earlier part of the conversation. If we don't have as much of a thing, it's going to cost more. It increases the rarity and preciousness. And in this particular case, it's the Dijon region. So it's Dijon mustard, which is a luxury mustard. So we can expect that something like that would go up in price. But we heard about how we were going to see a whole bunch of jacks in prices. Yeah, not the mustard. Apparently Canada makes a lot of mustard as well. So we're probably insulated from that, except for the fact that I guarantee you that if there is a demand on mustard, we'll just ship it all away and be like, I don't know, man. I don't know. If you tried not having mustard, pull yourself up by your mustard straps. The UK is burning. Is it burning? I haven't paid attention to the UK, mostly because Boris Johnson, who I understand has stepped down or something. Maybe he's doing like a Jason Kenney, like, I stepped down, except that I'm still not stepped down. I don't know. Boris Johnson does not interest me. He looks like a Fraggle come to life. And he has the charisma of a Fraggle with no one's hand in it. So I just haven't paid attention, honestly. But yeah, my point being, the people that run the grocery stores, they're doing all right. Their staff aren't, but the people that run them are. The people who run the massive farming productions, typically doing all right. Their farmers may not be, but they're doing all right. The people who are involved in the supply chain for moving food across wide spaces tend to be doing all right. Not the workers, but the people at the top. It seems to me like there's a common thread here. The common thread is we keep cutting the fucking taxes on wealthy people and increasing the taxes on poor people, usually through sinister, sneak-a-deek ways like property tax increases, the increased taxation for, at the pump or on sin taxes or whatever, but making sure that the wealthiest don't pay taxes. And then we go, weird, we have less money in the coffers. I guess the poor need to dig deep. No. Okay, YouTube video provided by Sugar. All right, let's take a look at this. I'm assuming this is about how the UK is burning. I can learn things. Let's learn together. Let's go to the video watch screen. And then I'll go here, not there, here, and paste that link in. If this is a monkey born, I'm totally... Oh, it's actually burning.
Fire through a village on the outskirts of London. Homes destroyed in record-breaking heat as temperatures hit 40 degrees for the first time.
Sadly,
Okay. Sorry, I think I had heard about this, but it was in the chaos of all the last few weeks, and it was lost on me that this was a serious thing. So yeah, London hits 40 Celsius for the first time.
In Wennington, in my borough,
that's brutal.
8 houses were lost, and obviously we're currently supporting residents in that part of the borough.
Some of the fires.
His shirt said hot tuna. I don't know what that means, but I think I love it. I think I love hot tuna.
Obviously, we're
let's see if there's
35 fire brigades respond to all of these fires if they continue at this pace.
In central London, people were trying to find ways to cool down any way they could.
Now that's one thing I will definitely point out. A lot of people will say like 40 Celsius. Who gives a shit? We have 40 Celsius here all the time. When you're not used to 40 Celsius is a brute. And plus it's England, so it's probably like a cold and polluted kind of heat, or I would say a damp and polluted kind of heat. So I could see it being really, really unbearable. And showing, kids playing in a water park, oh, that's cool, that's cute, look at that, isn't that a good family values moment? But yeah, this is a problem. Turns out the world is warming, the climate is changing. No one saw this coming since the 70s. No one has seen climate change. It's a brand new topic, brand new. It's like I'm just gobsmacked that the weather's increasing. If only the scientific community had had some kind of a consensus on the subject. But here we are. I'm obviously kidding. I'm obviously being not serious. Monkey porn, that's a thing, Jim. I guarantee you monkey porn is a thing. I haven't looked for it. Back in my early days of consultancy, I had a client come in, and it was early in the internet as a widespread tool. And I had done a search for something that was relevant to our conversation, and one of the top hits was some kind of Asian BDSM porn page. And obviously what I was searching for was like apartment rentals in Calgary or something like, completely unrelated. And the guy was like, how does that happen? And I was like, well, let me explain to you how the internet is. If you can think of a thing, there's a porn for it. So give you an example. She-Hulk. And I typed in She-Hulk porn. This was a client that I was fairly comfortable with. I typed in She-Hulk porn, and I was not let down. Turns out She-Hulk porn was a whole thing that was there. So I would be stunned if monkey porn isn't a thing. There's like people who get off to incredibly obese drawings of Pokemon characters. It's that world. This is our world. This is the new normal. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with getting off on whatever the fuck you want to get off on, right? Wank away. Just don't waste semen. Just kidding. But it's, it's going to be a thing. I just have to make sure that I'm not TOSing when I, click on a link and it's like, oh, hey, that's monkey porn. Thanks, Twitch. Bye. It's been fun. They don't have AC and things like that. Yeah, like here in my hometown, we don't get a whole lot of 40 degrees above. We do from time to time. Usually it's a stretch of time, often accompanied by wildfires all over the area. We haven't had that yet. We've had like high 30s, not high 30s, like mid to low 30s actually. And it has been warm, and I don't have air conditioning because I'm poor, and the number of days in the year where it's actually uncomfortable is fairly minimal for what I'm used to and accustomed to. If you live in a place where 40 above is the normal, you probably have an air conditioner because it makes more sense, but you probably don't have like as much of a heating bill in the winter as I do. These things all balance out. But as the weather changes, all of this is going to change. So 40 degrees Celsius, I don't know if this is actually a product of global warming or if it's a fluke thing. Like, I'm no weatherologist. I would assume it's from global warming. Apparently, I was watching a thing on Seth Meyers' show, whatever it is, and he was saying that they're having a huge number of shark attacks off of Long Island, I think it was, like a record thing, because the waters are warming, and the sharks are more comfortable in the waters there, so therefore more sharks equals more shark attacks. That's the new math in the new normal. Some things are a no. Yes, I'm not sure what you mean by that, but yes, if you're referring to increased shark attacks, definitely bad. The other thing that is important to factor in when we're talking about stuff like climate change is that it's much trickier than just, it sure is a hot day outside. And we all know this, right? We know that things like, some things are a no for porn. Yeah, absolutely. I'm wildly, like, if you're not hurting anybody and no one's getting hurt involved and it's not, like arguably evil, which is a moral judgment, but I think it's one that, you know, needs to get made, then yeah, some things are a no. I will grant you that. Because there's anytime you think the world can't be more fucked up, the internet will prove you wrong. Guaranteed. But yeah, like all of the stuff that is going to come with climate change is going to be a whole bunch of shittier, right? Some of us like having a California or a Vancouver. I particularly like Vancouver and the region because I have some of my favorite viewers in that space, and people I know and care about live out there. And I almost moved out there once, and I remember I was asking my uncle what's a good commute or good neighborhood to live in Vancouver, and he was saying, well, you don't want to live here because it's a liquid zone, which means that the ground will turn to liquid when the big quake comes and you'll just get slurped into the ground and be instantly killed. And I was like, no. No. Who would live in a place like that? But obviously, people do. People do. I don't. Anyways, I think it's really neat that we're in this place where it's our new normal. We have a global recession that's looming on the horizon. We have incredible wealth inequality. We have diseases that are being approached with a very cavalier, like, I shouldn't have to protect myself from a disease in a social environment. Like, this is the thing that people seem to have lost, or at least some people seem to have lost. We are a social animal. Our morality doesn't come from Jesus. Our morality comes from refining what it means to be a social animal. So we don't murder because that's bad for the herd. We don't steal because that's bad for the herd. Except sometimes it's not bad for the herd to steal. Right? The example is someone who's stealing food. All right. That example gets, altered when people go, yeah, but what if you're stealing a television? Well, you can buy a lot of television, or you can buy a lot of food with a television. I'm not gonna say right or wrong that stealing a TV is a good thing. I would say that there are people who steal TVs who are bad, and there are people who steal TVs who are good. And the people who steal TVs that are good go to the same jail as the people who steal them that are bad. These things come from being a social animal. Mask mandates were essentially us saying, okay, if you're not going to act like a fucking social animal, we're going to have to put some rules in place. And if you don't want to live with them, I get that. That's cool. But you're doing bad. You're actually endangering the herd. That's where all of this comes from. And it's a good thing that we have protections in place for people. I just don't get why that's a hard sell for some people. But I'm an old punk. We used to, someone falls down the pit, you pick them up. Your social circle in that particular moment is more important than a lot of stuff. You just have to care about the people that are around you. And we're doing that, but not on a widespread social scale, and certainly not in a way that affects great improvements in the quality of life for people. There are people out there who are struggling, and our society's response is to be like, maybe you should be rich, kind of like the good response for when people are struggling with mental health, and you go, maybe you should be happy. Checkmate, maudlin person. That doesn't help anyone. So let's not do that. That's just dumb. The new normal has to change. And the way to change it is to make accountable the people who are in charge, to force change. And yeah, that means as a libertarian, I'm talking about government exuding influence over business. Okay, I'm fine with that. It's got to happen. Because if we don't force our businesses to take climate change seriously, they won't. And reasonably, these are people who are living in an opulent lifestyle that they don't want to jeopardize, and they're not going to see the benefits of the things that they're doing. So we're just asking them to take a hit, right? Some guy that runs an oil company is probably not going to live long enough to care about climate change. And his kids probably will, but he probably doesn't care that much about his kids. The CEO of Tim's just got arrested in New York on child rhymes with corn charges. The entire franchise is dead to me. Yeah, I saw there was a thing that you posted actually, Sugar, on the Facebooks that I saw, and I briefly clicked on it. Yeah, I heard about this. Tim Hortons CEO charged with child photography of a lewd nature. Good that he was charged. It's weird to me, like, you know, the whole Epstein Island thing. Like, we know that there's a lot of that horrible shit in the world, and we don't seem to really do much to stop it or to involve ourselves with making it not happen. I do not understand that shit. And I also don't get, like, if you're the CEO of Tim Hortons, you're probably making some pretty decent bank. You probably could, you know, afford access to services that would maybe help you get through life without being a fucking monster. I don't know. That seems a thing. I don't know, because I don't make that kind of money. Somehow I manage to not be a monster, but that doesn't imply that people who, you know, are poor can't be monsters, because fuck knows we can. But, like, if you're the CEO, like, what are you fucking thinking? I remember seeing this it was a TED Talk, but it was this guy who's a Scottish dude who is a magazine magnate in I think in America. He makes a lot of trash magazines, and he had a crack addiction that lasted for years. And he's like, oh yeah, loved me some crack, and I would still be doing crack, except that, you know, I was worried about what my mom would think if she found out I was doing crack. Like, there has to be something that says, don't do this thing, even though it's what you want to do, just don't do it. Now, I say that as a smoker, and sometimes I'll even drink the occasional drinky-do, but, like, I'm harming myself. Child pornography harms children. It harms society. And yet, you know, Epstein Island shows that there's this core of people who are wealthy and affluent who are like, man, but, you know, what's really wrong with that? Why can't we go down that? Fuck that. That's evil. The CEO of Tim's, like, how do you get to be a big successful person without having, like, that sense in your head that, like, maybe don't abuse children? I don't get that shit. And still we don't know their names. Yes, and we won't. Because, again, the people who are involved in deciding whether or not we will release those names are the people whose names are on the list. Turns out, the people with power are the people who are exploiting. Which is weird, because normally power is not so exploitative. But, like, we should, as a society, recognize the fact that there is a need to protect ourselves and our children from monsters. I'm all for that. I am not for the QAnon bullshit of, like, oh, save our children, because that shit, they've co-opted into something completely different and completely gruesome. But, like, these people are a threat to our kids, and I don't care how much fucking social capital they have. I don't care how much power and authority they have. I don't care how many people they employ. I don't care how important they are to the state of the union or whatever the fuck. Monsters go away. Period. Like, I don't know what the fuck else anyone can say. And all the little dude bros that'll talk about, yeah, if I ever knew a child molester, I would beat that guy. No, first off, no, you wouldn't, because you're a giant pussy. Second off, that's not the right answer. Beating people up isn't the right answer. And third, as a society, we seem to only care about people who hurt children when they're under a certain economic viability. The more you have, the more you get away with. And there is a certain question that comes up of like, maybe our society actually breeds that kind of thing because we get bored the more we have. I wouldn't fucking know, but maybe that's a thing. There was an indigenous man charged with trafficking in Treaty 3, and he was, and he skipped cider, and no one can find. I'm assuming he skipped town or whatever. No one can find him. Well, that's too bad. I'm not sure which treaty is Treaty 3. I think that's a sketchy one, but I'm probably way wrong. Skip court, yeah. And I would put good money that there's going to be a manhunt for an indigenous man doing that. But like, we know some of the names that were on that list. We saw photos of all the wealthy people going on Epstein's private jet, going to Epstein Island. Like that has not been news. That was a thing that they were proud of at the time because it was a way to show how rich and famous they were. Why do we look at a Bill Gates or a Bill Clinton or any of these motherfuckers and go, well, maybe they're not child endangering, maybe they're not monsters. We should give them the benefit of the doubt. Fuck that. Ontario far south on the border, my bad. Yeah, definitely. No, Saskatchewan would be far later than that in terms of numbers. It only makes sense that the treaties would have started on Eastern Canada. Again, what the fuck do I know about shit? I've read Treaty 7, which is the place where I live, but I'm no expert on the treaties other than that. And I should probably change that one of these days, but probably not on stream, because I would imagine that would be a stream that would be very boring with me just reading a bunch of different treaties. But I think it's important that, especially living in a place where we're living on stolen land that is bound by these treaties, we ought to fucking know what those treaties mean. Just saying. Because it turns out we haven't lived up to our end of the bargain. Who saw that coming? I'm hoping the community took care of him. That would be a better option than if he got away, obviously. And I know that a couple of weeks ago we were talking about Indigenous restorative justice, and that would be right in line with restorative justice. My thing on justice for people who are guilty of that kind of like human trafficking. Human trafficking is a whole different monster. At that point, you're just a piece of shit. You're just a fucking monster. Pedophilia, you're a monster and you have something wrong with you. And we need to do a better job of understanding what that something wrong with you is. And so, burying someone in the back 40 isn't the answer that we should be looking for, because that's what the fuck am I? I just glanced down. You can safely have a Timmy's. No, I can't. I don't understand how you can safely have a Timmy's if the CEO of Timmy's is getting arrested for child porn. I mean, you can safely have it in the one definition of safely, but I personally can't support an organization that does that. My coffee is not from Tim Hortons. Although realistically, I probably am supporting a million organizations that are led by gross creeps, because that's what's out there. The CEO of Timmy's did not get arrested. It was a satire article that got taken seriously. See Snopes link above. Oh, let's take a look, because I don't want to be all sassy frassin'. Let me just take a look at the Snopes. I do have a certain amount of trust for Snopes. It is not perfect trust, but Snopes, I think it does a moderately decent job of doing some background checking. So, no, Tim Hortons CEO was not arrested. The false rumor appeared to be made up out of whole cloth On July 20th, 2022, a website called Vancouver Times published an article claiming that the CEO of Tim Hortons, David Schwartz, had been arrested for allegedly possessing child pornography. However, no part of this rumor was true. It appeared to be made up out of whole cloth. The Vancouver Times said the story intended to be satirical. Not only was the premise of our arrest rumor completely false, but the article's alleged CEO of the Canadian breakfast company, Schwartz, was not actually the CEO. Rather, he's listed as online as the co-chairman of a board governing Restaurant Brands International, the parent company of Tim Hortons. The beginning of the Vancouver Times article reads like this. The CEO of the iconic Canadian breakfast franchise, Tim Hortons, has been arrested at home. Blah, 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 blah. One of the most popular shares of the false article about Tim Hortons appeared to come from Twitter user @ChickenGate. That user shared the misleading story, apparently believing it to be a genuine news item. The tweet received well over 1,000 combined retweets and likes before it was deleted. After the article on the Vancouver Times website, vancouvertimes.org, was initially published, one of its writers apparently added an update to clarify that the story was satire. The update read as follows. As many were quick to point out, this article is satirical. To ease confusion, we've placed this article in our satire section and added a note at the bottom of the article. If you're still confused, please check out our About Us section. Okay, well, that's interesting. That may change the owner of Timmy's in Saskatchewan beat up an Indigenous man for no fucking reason. That is true. I did read about that. Although, is it like all Timmy's in Saskatchewan, or is it just like one Timmy? Not that the number is what matters, but just trying to understand if it's like there was some little franchise owner dude, or if it's like, you know, a much more powerful cat than that. Anyways, the key is doing things to children bad. People should go to fucking jail, and maybe the Tim Hortons guy is innocent on that particular charge. On that note, I'm going to take a quick pause. I'll play some of my awesome music. They all need to stand against racism. Oh, absolutely. Like that. Again, I'm not saying like, you know, well, if it's only one franchise owner, it's okay to be racist. I don't mean that at all. I'm trying to understand if this is like someone who is massively powerful or a little bit powerful. That's all. Racism is bad no matter what, and racism against Indigenous people in particular, because Indigenous people in this country are easily the most punched down upon. I just don't do that. It's just not cool. Now that is a no Timmy's moment. My ignorance is broken. Again, I am Canadian. That wasn't you being ignorant in general. That was you knowing facts about one article and not about another one, or another story about the company. So that's a thing. Anyways, I'm going to take a quick pause. I'm going to go outside and put cancer-causing chemicals in my lungs. I will play this lovely music for you while I do. And assuming that it's playing, it is playing. Okay, cool. I will be back in just a couple of minutes, and all will be well with the world. And y'all will be like, hey, wow, that Jim, he sure is back now. All right. BRB, LOL, ROFLMAO. Okay, I am returned. See, that wasn't long. So the climate thing, we have to go back to old ways of planting, seeding in small clusters to feed people locally without ask of the chemicals and machinery. I would absolutely agree with that. I think we also need, on the larger scale, we need to more equitably distribute food, and I'm talking globally because I don't really give a shit about borders. But going back to more traditional methods of farming, I think is like a necessity. The super farm concept, while nifty and capitally, has not served us well. It served us well in some regards, but in a lot of regards, it has caused great problems. You know, it used to be that if you worked in a grocery store as like a butcher or a, you know, even stocking shelves, like that was a career. And now we treat it like some, you know, minimum wage high school kid job. That's part of the devaluing of the middle class, is to consistently make it so that people are worth less. And jobs that we traditionally, you know, allowed for people to have a decent life just don't anymore. But when it comes to farming, our farmers constantly are struggling, and the industrial farming is not awesome. It causes problems. You look at a lot of community focused projects in large urban centers. One of the things that a lot of them do is, you know, food gardening, because it's a good thing. It helps people. You can find and rinse bear shit and plant those seeds. They grow easily after they've been through a bear system. Yes, absolutely. I've actually heard of that before. Although the Western monster in me is like, bear shit, ew. But yeah, like, you know, as long as you deal with the things accordingly, and by that I mean, like, you know, rinsing off before you plant. That's actually like the circle of life shit, you know. Bear eats thing, shits out seeds germinate, become new thing. That's, you know, Hakuna Manana. Yes, ew, but still good. We're so used to the idea of that we know better than the world around us, and how's that working out? Probably not so good. So maybe we could learn a thing or two from the wisdom of people who were here before us and managed to survive. That's probably not a terrible thing that we could do. Climate change is, you know, it's going to be a thing that we have to deal with, whether we likes it or not. It's reality. And if we continue to have massive, because most of the pollution, contrary to what people will have you believe when they talk about things like, you know, how cows can't fart anymore, or that people are you know, if you just stop using plastic straws, the seas will be better. Most of that is, like, on a scale, we are at the tiny fuck off end, and it's the big part that is industrialized processes. Certainly when it comes to things like the consumption of petroleum products, manufacture and you know, that's huge. Armies are also huge. And burning fluids after harvest, it puts nitrogen back, burning fields after harvest, sorry, puts nitrogen back into the earth and kills molds and larvae. I did not know that. But that is interesting. I also know that fire is not necessarily our enemy. There was a big forest fire years and years ago that taught people this lesson, and I don't remember where it was or any of the details, but huge forest fire happened. Everyone was like, OMG, the forest is going to be gone. And what fire does is essentially a lot of the seeds are released in a fire and then plant themselves and develop new forest. It's a good thing. That's why we do it on the res. I firmly believe that we have to start looking into areas that we think we know best, and questioning that. That said, there's also some value in the other side of things. So I do believe that we've done some good stuff with genetically modifying foods, both through the selection based on our desires and whims, and also based on some of the ability to create plants that can thrive in environments that they typically wouldn't, things like that. But there's got to be a happy medium. We have to start treating this planet a whole bunch of a lot better. So I wanted to do a daily rhombus or weekly rhombus because I haven't done that in a while. I'm going to spam rhombuses. In case you're wondering, I am an affiliate and therefore I get emotes of my own. And theoretically you could subscribe to have access to those. You don't have to do that. I do not need your money. If you want to subscribe to me, instead follow me and then give your money to people who are doing better things than I would with it. So that's way cooler, in my opinion. But here's a bunch of rhombuses. We're doing our daily rhombus, weekly rhombus. I don't know why I call it daily rhombus. All right, our weekly rhombus this week, the weekly rhombus, is an important topic, and it is genuine confidence, baby. So, what do I mean by genuine confidence? Rhombuses, if you're new to the stream, rhombuses are the best people on Earth. They're not sigmas, they're not betas, they're not alphas. They're me and people like me. This is a bullshit thing that we just invented one day, and it's entirely a joke. However, rhombuses, genuine confidence. So I think confidence is good. A lot of people will say that confidence is sexy, but I think that it's important to know the difference between genuine confidence and confidence. Rhombuses know the difference, and let me impart that to you. Genuine confidence is being like, hey, I know what I'm good at, I know what I'm bad at, I can do things that I'm good at, and I can do them well, so I'm comfortable with that. The other kind of confidence is like, I can do whatever I want, everything is going to work out because I'm me, and aren't I special? And that's where things end poorly a lot of the time. Don't do that. Fake confidence is bad. That's the guys that'll send dick pics to girls are employing that not real confidence. That like, surely she must know that I'm super sexy based on the fact that I have sent a couple of words of, hey, I like your bum. Therefore, I should proceed with pictures of my genitalia. Not really a good look, historically. In fact, it's a pretty bad look. It's a pretty terrible thing. There's a bit of a pushback in the world around unsolicited dick pics, and things like that. Ironic that Sugar's in here right now. I was reading your thread today about the person messaging you about, hi there, I think you're very pretty and I would like to very much go and place my tongue inside of you. Like just out of nowhere, like, oh, well, hi, fella. Thanks for appreciating that I have a vagina. That isn't confidence. That is bravado. And that's a very big difference. Bravado is something that will get you in trouble. Genuine confidence is something that will highlight you and your skills as a person. It is a genuinely true statement, in my opinion, that if you are being genuinely confident, you can say, I'm not going to do this thing because I will not be good at it. There's a lot of stuff I'm not good at, and I am not confident that I can do it because that guy was so gross. Yes, I was reading that and just going, who thinks that way? Who's like, you know what'll work? I'm just going to be like, hey, sup? I would like to plant my seed in you. Please, when can we arrange a time when I can put my wiener inside you? Like, that's probably not the best plan. But that guy felt confident. He was like, this'll work. Maybe that's a Dunning-Kruger effect. I don't know. But definitely a bad look. And I don't endorse that sort of stuff. That's just me. Who am I? But I feel like I think that's a bad decision. Genuine confidence is having the ability to say, this is something I can't do, I wouldn't be good at, so I'm just not gonna. Or I need to practice before I can do that, right? That's a perfectly acceptable thing. That's being confident in your abilities while knowing your limitations. That's what rhombuses should strive to be, is people who know what they can do, know where the line is, and say, okay, you know what? If I'm going to do this other thing, maybe I just won't do it as well, right? That's the thing that's sexy. When guys like, you know, the what's his name? This Anthony Tate or Andrew Tate or whatever, Hassan just had a couple of streams with him. Apparently he's like a child trafficker or some shit. I don't fucking know the details. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, fine. But his whole thing is this bullshit bravado attitude of you know, I'm a super stud and I can do whatever the fuck I want and everyone will be thinking it's cool. And that's just lame. That's just fucking lame. I would look at that person and just be like, you don't get my money. You're full of shit. And hello, child.
Hi, sorry.
No, don't worry about it. You're putting on shoes. You're allowed to wear shoes. In this house, we footwear. I guess if they throw enough shit at the wall, eventually something will stick. And that's true, but it's like not awesome, right? I have a different perspective on things. A lot of people seem to think that the best way to, you know, meet that special someone or whatever is just like throw as much dick out in the world as you can. Just dick, 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 dick. Cool. I mean, that's an approach. And it probably works. Probably. I guarantee you, there's at least some people who have gone the dick, 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 dick route and have had a good life as a result. That is not who I am as a rhombus. I feel that is a bad look. That's probably as good a segue as any to the next thing I was going to talk about. I wanted to complain about the whole concept of relationships and the relationship escalator. Are we all familiar with the relationship escalator? He said, knowing that only Sugar was typing in the chat right now, and that Sugar was familiar with the relationship escalator. That's okay. Did I just lose my stream? What's going on? No, it's up. Just my little Facebook thing suddenly disappeared. The relationship escalator. That is the thing where you're at the bottom of the escalator and you're waiting to get on the escalator, and finally you can only go up in pairs or something. Finally you meet somebody and you can take that first step on the relationship escalator. And that first step is, we're going to go on a date. And then if it was the 1950s, you would put your lapel pin on her or give her your Letterman jacket or whatever the fuck people do, and you would be steadies or whatever, you know, you're gonna be exclusively dating this person. And then the next step is, maybe you buy a cactus together or a dog named Fidel, however you go. And then it's time to think about moving in, or maybe marriage. And then, you know, it's this steady progression of steps to the point where you are done the escalator and you can fall off and die. Now, I hate that. Genuinely hate that. Having been married and having been in long-term relationships that were not in that marriage, I think the relationship escalator is dumb. It's all predicated on that idea that there's that perfect someone out there, or that the person that you find that's perfect enough, you can ride the escalator with and be comfortable with, for the rest of your life or whatever. I don't understand. I don't get it. The more I've lived, the more I'm like, that's the last thing I want. And that makes me kind of a weirdo. And I get that. I know that there's communities in my city and in every city of people who are just like me. I'm not really a part of those communities because I find that I don't like a lot of them based on just who the people are. It's a thing, but I'm unique and strange and wonderful and weird, and shower me with dick pics or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, I think the idea of relationships that we have is dumb. I don't think that I should be shopping around for my future. Now that's contrary to what all of society seems to think, and I get that, and that's fine. But I feel like I enjoy relationships in the moment. I enjoy them with people who are interesting and who provide me some kind of happiness. You know, if it doesn't give you happiness, put it in the does not need pile. The relationship elevator or escalator is just sort of it's our default programming based on our society. And society says that the end goal of society is to get married, obtain power, be awesome. And depending on how much power you have, obviously, then comes the child pornography. But I don't want those things. I actually enjoy just being around people and having relationships. And I am a relationship anarchist, so I don't believe in that idea that there is a one true love out there for me. Likewise, I don't believe in the idea of growing old together. Now, that doesn't mean that, like, if I found someone who I wanted to grow old with, that I would be like, no, this is against my personal beliefs. Obviously not. I just don't think that's a thing. I'm already old, and I'm doing good. I have a great, wonderful, happy life wherein I get to play music, I get to have people in my life, I get to work and be responsible and live up to my responsibilities, and I get to giggle with friends and all sorts of other good things. It's all very cool. I don't give a fuck about growing old with people. And we need to get over the idea that somehow dying alone is worse than anything ever. That's just fucked. My relationship escalator. Meet, have e-sex, see if they laugh at my jokes, meet in person, decide if in real life I want to bang. If yes, make them aware of my idiosyncrasies and polyamory, then do the sex, and sometimes forget they exist if they don't insert themselves into my life. Yeah, that's a perfectly acceptable thing, right? As a uniquely tailored relationship escalator. For me, my relationship escalator goes like this. Meet. Probably many years go by. Person expresses interest. I go, hey, that sounds cool. Or it doesn't. And if it sounds cool, maybe we do stuff. And if it's good, maybe we do stuff again. And if it's not, maybe we don't do stuff. And maybe we do stuff regularly. Who knows? I'm just not. The concept of the relationship in my mind is just too like oni. That's not the word. It's too possessive. I get that people want different things than I do. God help you. You have your life, I have mine. But I feel like when we're talking about relationships, we're talking about exclusive possession of a person sexually. And vice versa. I don't like that. It's not that I want, like, I'm not, please come and have sex with my wife on camera so that we can make money. I'm not that guy, although there's nothing wrong with that guy, but that's just not who I am. But like, if I'm not enough for a person, and I'm not for anyone because I'm not perfect, they should have options. They should be able to confidently be like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna try this over here. I'm gonna try this. This is sensible and reasonable. I shouldn't have to be perfect for anyone because I'm not going to be perfect for anyone. I'm not even perfect for me. So I just don't care. If I'm with, in a relationship with somebody and they want to have sex with other people, all right. No skin off mine. It doesn't make me less of a man. Doesn't make me less interested in them. Doesn't make them dirty or whatever. And likewise, doesn't say the same for me if I do that. It simply means that I don't own their body and I don't get to decide for them who they have the sex with. This idea that if you don't have a partner, you're less than a whole person is odd. Yeah, I don't know where it comes from and I don't know why we continue to allow it to be a thing. a lot of people have gone through life without partners, or gone through stretches of time and still been totally valid and useful people, despite the fact that they didn't have anyone on the regular touching their tiddly parts, right? I'm a fine example of this. I don't date a lot, and I don't have, despite being polyamorous, I'm currently, not in any kind of thing. I have people that have expressed some interest, and we'll see where that goes. But I'm not like, I don't have the constant harem of like, these are my 60 child brides. Yes, welcome to the polygamous Mormon sect. Not a thing I would do. And I am comfortable with me. I am not perfect, but I have confidence in myself. And I know that I'm pretty cool. I know that I enjoy my company. I know that I have a pretty awesome life and that I do cool shit. Like, what else is there? It's great to have someone to share that with, but isn't it even cooler to have like a bunch of people to share it with in a bunch of different ways? I'm a whole person. I consider myself single, even though I have regular partners. Yeah, that's honestly, that's kind of, I don't consider myself single any more than I consider myself in relationships or whatever. I don't think about it like that. I think about it like, I have people in my life. Some of them will be people who want to, do things with my wiener. Cool. God bless you. And if I'm also similarly inclined, then that's awesome. But, I have a million relationships because all relationships are essentially, every interaction I have with other people is a relationship. It doesn't have to be a sexual relationship. In fact, a lot of the times it's not. But they're still relationships, and they still have their own unique things about them that are interesting, and I maintain them or choose to remove them because of those things. And I look at our perspective on relationships, and I see the problematic side of it. I see people who get trapped because this is the person who I'm supposed to be with, and who currently has possession of my diddly parts. And they're a terrible person. But I could change them. Well, maybe you can. Maybe you can. Maybe you can't. And most likely you can't. That's not going to go well. I feel like people should earn their place in anyone else's life and consistently earn it by being worthwhile as a part of that person's life. And so, when the topic of divorce comes up, I'm like, yeah, fuck, go for it. Get divorced. If you're not happy, if that person isn't the source of some kind of significant level of joy in your life, walk away. If there are kids, that makes things difficult, but not impossible. I got divorced and I had kids, and I wouldn't say it was a perfect solution, but it was a lot better than had I stayed in that relationship and showed them that this was what a normal relationship looked like. I really think that's a thing. The comment, Sugar, the comment you made, I am a whole person. Yeah, 100% agree. I am very happy about the fact that I'm a whole person and that I've fought to improve myself and to become the person that I am. Because admittedly, I thought when I was like 20, I was pretty sure that I was the best darn person on earth. Not really, like I wasn't egomaniacal about it, but I was pretty happy with who I am. And in retrospect, I was a baby. I had so much to figure out about the world. And, no, you can't change people. They may act differently for fear of losing something, but they are still who they are. I think you can change people in very, very tiny ways if they are receptive to that change. I think people can do better and become better, but you can't take that ownership on yourself because that doesn't work. People will either decide that they want to be better or not. And when they don't, shit gets bad. seems to be a lot of confusion about whether sex is a relationship or a relationship has sex or a relationship without sex or it's too judgy and not enough acceptance out there if it doesn't impact you. Taken me decades to become not so judgy. Can't say I'm 100% not judgy, but better now than then. Yeah, I legitimately look at it like, if how I see my relationships, I have a relationship with my children. I have a relationship with my friends. I have a relationship with people that are touching my diddly parts. I have a relationship with my boss. All of those relationships will have different characteristics. Some of them will have sexual components. Some of them will have exploitative components, i.e. Boss. And also, one could argue, my children. I try not to be a bad dad or whatever, but, I am the dad. I make rules. I make all that kind of stuff. That's a thing. Sugar, in one way, I can't change you, but in another way, you're certainly capable of change. And then Lunacy says, just because you add labels to something doesn't make it any more or less accurate. I personally believe that what actually matters is that people involved are on the same page about their feelings and with whatever the boundaries are of their relationship. Yes, boundaries, huge. Boundaries, very important. As is, and the reason why I subscribe to the concept of like ethical polyamory is because I believe that there's a necessity for honesty and communication. And that I'm finding that a lot of the time when people come around me, there isn't a lot of communication that is sort of by de facto as being established, and that I'm trying to say, hey, this is who I am, this is what I do, and people will essentially say, yeah, of course, look at you, shh, but you will be mine. And it's like, no. These are things that will make me walk the fuck away because I am not going to be anybody's chattel. I'm a completely different person than I was in my 20s, but it was due to me doing the work. Yeah, exactly. Me too. Therapy, an example of somebody changing me, but only because I was willing to do the work. Honesty equals paramount. Yes. And like everyone fails at honesty in their lives. There's a reason it's in the 10 Commandments because it's one of those guaranteed fuck yous. And you see like street preacher people do this all the time where they're like, are you a good person? Have you ever told a lie? A lie is the same as baby rape in everyone's eyes, including Jesus's. So you're a bad person and you need Jesus to forgive you. We all lie. We're all human. But the key is to try as best as possible not to. Certainly to try and not present yourself as something that you're not. And to be a person with integrity as best as any of us can. It is not easy and not perfect, and I'm not pretending like, oh, just be like me, do integrity. I try. I fail sometimes, but I do my best, and I hold myself to a standard that I think is important. Communication and transparency requires you to be vulnerable, and most, if not all of us, avoid placing ourselves in a vulnerable position. I would agree. I would say that starting a relationship with somebody is a vulnerable position, and that in that event, communication actually is a method to avoid some of that vulnerability and to put up protective boundaries that say, yes, I'm going to be vulnerable with you, but I'm not going to be 100% blindly vulnerable and just hope that it works out. Fear of rejection, fear of how others might perceive you. Sugar, we're constantly evolving, therefore, so are our needs, wants, etc. Be proud of yourself for doing it. Yeah, 100%. And I look at the person that I was in my 20s, and I can only say the word is stagnant, because I was certain that I had evolved as far as I possibly could and was just a gosh darn great little gem of a boy. And there was so much growth that I was missing out on because of that perspective. Obviously, I've changed that. Obviously, I'm much more open to the idea that maybe I ain't perfect, but that was a thing. I don't fear rejecting. I don't get upset or crushed. It's okay to not want someone. I don't want most people. I don't see that as bad. But a lot of people have fear of rejection. A lot of people suffer from that. I think that's where a lot of that false confidence comes from in people, is the crippling fear of, what if I'm genuine and they reject me and they're rejecting me? That's Some people really struggle with that. I look at it more like this, and that is that I think I'm pretty cool. I'm not perfect. I've said that a million times just in this stream. But I'm pretty cool. And I would imagine there's a bunch of people who are like, that guy's cool. I would like to get to know him better or touch his diddly parts or whatever the fuck. And that's awesome. And those people are probably not going to reject me for being myself. If I put on a fake persona to isolate myself from that and to all that kind of stuff, then maybe the real me would get rejected because they're not attracted to the real me. They're attracted to the fake me. And that's going to go badly. Do I care what other people think about me? Why do I care? Why do I not care? I personally don't care what other people think about me, mostly because I can't control it. I can only control me, and I'll do the best darn job I can. And no one likes to get slagged, and no one likes to get, like, have people talking about you behind your back in ways that are not genuine. But you can't stop them from doing that. There are people out there who still will refer to me as a hateful white supremacist because they are certain that at some point they went to a show that I booked and there was someone there that was a white supremacist, and therefore I'm cool with it. Okay, you can believe that all you want. I can tell you, ain't the way, but you're going to believe what you're going to believe. It doesn't matter. We are good human beings, or good human doings, not psi. I think, yeah, at the end of the day, what really truly matters is, can we look at ourselves in the mirror and be comfortable with who we see? And if there's someone beside me and, we've wrapped our lives into a glorious tapestry of beauty, cool. But if there's not, I need to be okay with a life that is just me being happy with me. And I am. And I'm not done growing up. I'm not done fixing my life. I'm not done becoming a better me. That's probably the most important thing my 20s taught me. But I'm a better me than I was, and I will be an even better me than I am. And that's pretty fucking cool, and that's something I'm proud of, and makes me happy. So I don't give a fuck about growing old with people. I don't give a fuck about trying to find Mrs. Right. I don't believe in Mrs. Right. I believe in a lot of cool people having a lot of really interesting things that I can enjoy about them and share with them and laugh with them and cry with them and all of those things. And if that's, if what that isn't for somebody, that's okay. Because I'm not for everybody. And neither are you, and neither is anyone else. We don't have to be. When we try to be, we actually chip away at our personality and hide too much of ourselves. I don't want to do that. I'd rather just be me. Just little me. So much gossip and lateral violence in the indigenous community. I'm accustomed to it. Have a great day anyway. Yeah, I think that's one of the hardest lessons, because we're raised to believe that we have some kind of ability to control people's perspective of us. And we have this idea in our head that if we're good people, good things will happen. No. That's not a guarantee. That doesn't mean it won't happen. It just means that, you can't just put goodness bits into the universe and expect goodness tokens to come back to you. It's just not how it works. All that matters to me is that I'm comfortable with who I am. I don't have a whole lot of money. I don't have a whole lot of anything. But I'm pretty satisfied with my life. I live a life that meets my interests and meets my needs and gives me a lot of really good stuff and allows me to help other people and allows me to do other cool shit, and that's awesome. And if people poop all over that, all right, that's cool. They're allowed. I'm not going to worry about other people's perspectives of me. And yeah, I don't know anything about the indigenous community and a lot of the gossip and lateral violence you're describing. I am assuming that you are absolutely correct because you are in that community and I am not. What I will say is, if that's the case, I hope that the people there learn to do better, because that kind of shit erodes. Again, back to the whole social animal thing. Trust is important in a society. And if we don't trust each other, we're going to struggle. Eventually, they might, but the only guarantees are death and taxes. I totally agree. Death and taxes. I haven't done the death yet, but I've definitely done the taxes. Apparently, none of it makes it out of no one makes it out of this alive. This is true. No one here gets out alive now. It's a funny thing, and I came to the understanding a long time ago that all we can do is the best we can. And for me, the best isn't the relationship escalator thing, the standard approach to following the script society presents. For me, the best thing is nurturing all the creative stuff that I want to do, while at the same time, living a life that allows me to be responsible for what I need to be responsible for. I think that's cool. That's pretty rhombus. Crabs in the bucket. I don't have crabs, not even in a bucket. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I'm sure. I'm just kidding. It doesn't mean crabs. But I definitely, and for the record, I don't have crabs. Now, there's anything wrong with having crabs. Humans get crabs. It's life. Stop stigmatizing stuff, Jim. You weirdo. I'm going to talk a little bit about a weirder... Yeah, don't pull each other down. Oh, yes, crabs in the bucket. I know the reference too, right? If I'm not mistaken, when crabs are in a bucket and one crab starts to climb his way out of the bucket, the other crabs will grab him and pull him down. Because crabs are jerks. And at the end of the day, probably ought to stop, crabbing so much. I want to talk a little bit about so I watched this debate a while back. Rose, it's not mullet, but it's spelled mullet, like moulet or moulette or something like that. Talking, and Rose has talked to a variety of people about there is some device that they're looking to get funding for mass production in South Africa that's an anti-rape device. And it's like a sheath that goes inside the katutu, and it has little barbs, and we've all seen this before, and people are like, hey, that's a thing. Rose was very upset about this, and in a tweet got very vitriolic and said something about how this is awful, and that as a pacifist, the best thing you can do when you're being raped is just, I don't know, go with it, and that, if you do this, you're intentionally hurting another human being and therefore should go to jail for life, which is a weird take. And they got lambasted for it, and it was not awesome for them and good. But they keep riding this particular train. They just had a debate with Destiny on the subject. And I think it's a strange thing, because it sort of leads into this whole conversation about self-defense. There's a lot that plagues Indigenous communities that I feel were introduced distractions meant to keep people from solidarity and healing. Yes, colonization, totally, and everything since. Weird take. Yeah, it's a super weird take, the whole thing. In my mind, the act of putting a thing in your hoo-hoo is not an act of violence. The act of violence in this particular scenario is the person forcibly penetrating that person. That seems to me like the difference. I'm pretty sure I'm okay with the idea of somebody going through some very serious discomfort and having to go to a hospital to deal with the fact that they've just done an awful thing and got called out for it, or got caught for it. That I'm fine with. Rose, not so much. Rose was very, very sure that this is an act of violence and we shouldn't put more violence into the world. I guess, won't somebody think of the rapist? No, don't. I firmly have zero problem with that. To me, self-defense is an important thing. It's not the only important thing, but it's an important thing. I have done years of taekwondo and boxing and a variety of other things. And I do believe that it's good to be able to defend yourself. Not everyone can, but that's still a good thing. When you consider the story of rape, rape is pretty fucking awful. There's really not a whole lot of good that comes out of rape. I know I'm being very obvious here. I don't know how I can communicate that, rape bad. And if someone is doing that, they probably deserve to be harmed. And the person on the receiving end deserves whatever they can do to get out of that situation alive. When I was in one of my first Taekwondo classes, we were talking about self-defense and how self-defense was, at least from a Canadian perspective, is anything that you need to do to get out of a dangerous situation, and that's an important distinction. Because if, for example, I am a big, strong fella, and let's just say that someone comes to hurt me, and I punch them and knock them out and cause them permanent damage from the incredible awe of my punch, that may have gone farther than self-defense. Because I could have gone less and have the ability to have gone less and to not put them in the permanent damage kind of pile, and therefore should have exercised more discretion, and that I crossed the line from the least amount of effort necessary to get away from a situation and into actual assault. I think that's a reasonable thing, and the key, I think, is that we only know the answer. It's kind of like what we were talking about political violence last week. We only know the answer after the fact. But we do what we can. So this person, this imaginary person with this sheath thing in their cadoodle, I don't think that they're doing anything wrong. If similarly, instead of having that, they had a can of pepper spray or a gun or whatever, depending on the circumstances, they probably are well within their rights to defend their bodily autonomy that way. And I support that, right? To me, that's self-defense. For me, if I had, let's just say I had some, person not as strong, not as trained in fighting, not as blah, 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 and not as physically imposing as me, attempting to cause me bodily harm, and I did the exact same thing, I might be crossing the line. It really does come down to a situational interpretation of, did I cross that line? And I would be willing to stand by whatever that reaction was. If hoo-hoos had teeth, there would definitely be less rape. That is true. Also, the premise of a horrible horror movie. Much more effective than a gun and hurts no bystanders. All snatches should have retractable claws. I want that. Yeah, right? I remember hearing that, like, cats and dogs have a barbed penis, so that essentially once things start, the barbed penis is in there, and until the penis becomes flaccid, it's in there. And so you'll see, like, a female dog wandering around and, like, dragging a male dog by its wiener and shit like that. Like, that feels like not the same thing and awful. Yeah, Wolverine, that's awesome. Marvel character Wolverine, I love that. Might even encourage safer sex if one must put a helmet on that soldier, because you never know. I look at it like, anytime you're putting something in someone else, you probably need to have their permission. And if you don't have their permission, they're probably going to react, and you probably deserve whatever you're going to get. Now, if I stick my finger in a random person's mouth, just walking down the street and just go into their mouth, they're probably going to bite me, and I probably earned that. Okay. Sorry to, those that would disagree with that take. And I can assure you that if I'm walking down the street and all of a sudden, I'm probably going to bite the fuck out of that person. It's just how I do. Rose's answer was to have better home security. That was one of the things in the Destiny debate that happened today. And I was like, that is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Like, you just, if you want to not get raped, maybe don't have, a door. Just wall yourself in bricks and it'll be fine. Like, I don't even know what the fuck they were thinking. But the solution for rape, in my opinion, is a combination of factors. It is educating men to not do rape. It is also educating women to be prepared to react to a rape however they can, to the best of their ability. Hopefully that never happens, but that's probably a thing. To understand what rape is, to understand their own bodies and how that, those things relate to the outside world, and to understand how to deal with that as best as possible. I think we need to have, this is one of the reasons why I don't believe in abolition of police in our society. I just think that police have to have very different jobs. I think massively changing how the police are utilized in our society is vital for us to continue. But there are going to be people who are garbage and who are rapists and child predators and murderers that will not reform, whether by decision or by biochemistry or who knows what. And we have to have a means to protect people. And whether it's called the police or not, essentially that's a policing role. When we talked about restorative justice, we talked about the fact that Indigenous cultures often were, essentially the worst things that you could do were sexual violence, violence against women, violence against children. And that those people would be, in some cases, shunned, which had a lot more weight to it at the time, or murdered by the group as this is for the best. If we don't want to do murder, and we don't want to do shunning, or we can't do effectively shunning, then there has to be some other mechanism to deal with these people. Our society must be safe for as many of us as possible. That's my two cents on the subject. I don't think that's radical. Again, social animal. If you violate that social pact and are someone who is going to, dangerously violate it on the regular, there has to be comeuppance. Most rapists live inside the same house. Yes, that is true. As their victims, yeah, that is very true. That includes parents raping children. That includes spousal rape, which is or partner rape, which is, I think, very common, and far more common than we are comfortable talking about. Pierre Poilievre is going to make things a lot less safe. Yes, I firmly believe that is a very, very dangerous human in so many ways. Just the fact that they're all lining up to slobber on the glorious wiener of the convoy. And I liked the fascists more than you did. No, I liked the fascists more than you did. That I saw that leadership debate and I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Do you not get that these people were threatening the democracy that is supposed to make this country super cool? And you are representative of, and you're like, yeah, I love that. Keep doing. What the fuck? I think that we have a bad habit of employing cops when we don't need to employ cops. I don't think I'm speaking anything particularly radical here. If you're doing a wellness check, cops are the wrong tool. I think things like, the current political system that says that it is illegal to sell drugs, unless you are a government organized body doing so. I think that is stupid and dangerous for our society. I think that we need to assess how we deploy police officers, because police officers are the violence of our system. And do we really want to deploy violence every time there's a reaction that needs to be made? Probably not. I would say that we also need to reassess how we do prison sentencing. There are a million, like I said, we talked about restorative justice, and there is so much value to that kind of approach to justice versus the idea that every single bad person gets put in jail and pays their debt to society, and that way they're not paying a debt to society. They're just being taken out of society for a period of time. And I was watching a thing briefly today. That dang dad, who was an ex-cop, was having a discussion with a guy who was an ex-con, and that dang dad basically asked, like, do you think that people, prison can reform a person? And the guy said, not really. I may be getting this entirely wrong too. I was doing 8 things, but basically his response was not really. All prison does is puts you in a very terrible place and gives you lots of time to stew on where your life is at. And a lot of people won't utilize that to become better people. Some people do. He was an example of someone who did, because he was like, I don't want to be in this awful place. How did I get here? Oh yeah, by my awful behaviors. But that's not a outcome of prison. That's an outcome of him making better life choices. And most times in prison, people don't do that. So I think that there is a value to the concept of a prison, in that there are people who are unsafe for a social species to have around. And if we're not going to kill or shun them, that's the next best thing. That's sort of like a modern shunning. We don't deal with mental illness nor mental health very well as a species. Peacekeeping force oxymoron, and allows you to meet the better criminals and learn more. Yes, there is something to be said about the fact that, if you wind up in jail, you are now able to, ask a friend and find better ways to be a prison or a criminal. That is a thing, for certain. And when it comes to the whole, do we deal with mental illness and mental health? Well, obviously not. This is because we have had conservatives and conservative mindsets saying that the best thing you can do is gut healthcare, that healthcare as an industry is not profitable and should be privatized. And that includes mental health in healthcare. Healthcare is, again, not an industry. It's a service. It is a service that we should be granting to all citizens, because that is important to who we are. There is a famous meme, and I don't know if it's real or not, but there was an anthropologist who was asked when she feels that a species has developed civilization. And her answer was, when you start to see broken bones being mended. And, as an anthropologist, you can look at ancient peoples and see that at some point we began to mend broken bones, which meant that somebody in that society put their own benefit on the back burner and said, I am going to help you to get through this broken bone. Because prior to that, you had a broken leg, you're just dead. You're just fucked. You can't chase after the herds. You can't whatever. You can't, be out in the fields tilling the field. Whatever the society was, you were just fucked. And when we see bones being mended, that means that someone looked after a person during their period of incapacitation. Where the fuck was I going? Jesus. I don't know. When we look at this society and we say, health is an industry, we are essentially saying that it is something that should be priced so that some people have access and some people don't. I'm opposed to that. Health should be a service, and it should be a service the same for all. I would say food should be a service that is the same for all, because food is a human need. I would say housing should be a service that is the same for all. And again, there's wiggle room, like, if you really need to have a bigger house than somebody else, cool, whatever, right? Way to go. But, like, housing isn't a human right, but we should just fucking treat it like one. Just make the decision that, for us as a society, we recognize that having a home is a vital aspect of being a part of the society, and the advantages to a person in knowing that they are not in threat of losing their home perpetually are massive. So let's just do that. Rather than being all like, yeah, but it's technically, if you were out on the desert, you wouldn't own a home by virtue of the fact that you're a human, so it's not a human right. It's not a human right. Let's just pretend it is and treat each other like that. In my opinion, it is a human right. Shelter equals safety. I don't disagree with that. I had a conversation where I said that housing was a human right and shelter equals safety, kind of that same approach. And I was talking with a friend of mine who's a libertarian, but he's one of like the good ones, who's not a horrible monster, and right-leaning libertarian. And his perspective on it actually made some sense, and that was, human rights are made up, and we have a right to, essentially, like, as a human being, we have a right to breathe, we have a right to, a handful of other things. But if you are a human being and you are living in, in a situation where you're not in a society, you have no right to shelter or food or whatever. You have to take those things. Now that I think about it, I still disagree with them because, yeah, food is not a human right. We just treat it like it is a human right. And we assume that having our basic needs met are our rights as people. And then on top of that, we add in things like freedom or, the right to free speech and things like that. So I guess I'm hemming and hawing a little bit because his argument made sense, but at the same time, my response was, well, fine, then we just pretend like it is. Do I have a right to put junk food in my body? Yes, you do. If so, do I have a right to health care from the consequences of that? I would say yes. I would absolutely say yes. As a smoker, I have a right to put nicotine in my system and all of the other gross things that are in cigarettes, and I may very well end up paying a price for that with my health. And I believe that I still should be covered by healthcare. Some would argue that I did this to myself, and they're not wrong. I make the choice to smoke, and that's a stupid choice. And eventually I will quit, but I could have lung cancer right now. Who knows? And yeah, then I would have done it to myself. And yeah, I absolutely would have consequences from that. And my society should look at me and say, you know what? You done went and fucked up. But we're not going to just put you on an ice floe and kill you. Let's help. McDonald's and Pall Mall had nothing to do with it. Well, they don't help, that's for sure. Although I don't eat a lot of McDonald's, but I eat a lot of shit food. That's valid. They merely offered. I actually kind of agree with that sentiment. Not to say that McDonald's is, innocent of I made the decision to eat the food. I would say that McDonald's is far more, should be more culpable for the fact that we have an obesity epidemic, and that Philip Morris should be more culpable for the fact that we have a problem with people who are smokers. And, pick an industry that is exploitative, and they should be ponying up to deal with some of the consequences of that if they're getting rich off of it. 100% cool with me. But I'm still, at the end of the day, if I order skip the dishes, that was my choice. If I have a cigarette, that was my choice. And I would hope that I live in a society that says you made some bad choices, but we still love you and care about you and want you to not die alone and miserable on an ice floe. Is there any industry that is not exploitative in some way? No, the nature of capitalism is exploitation. And the concept of surplus value means that all industries are exploitative in some way. They, at the very least, they live based on the extraction of our time. Even if we were, arguably given all the things in the world, they're still exploiting our time for whatever they are producing. So no, there's no industry that's not exploitative. If you want to, more, or perhaps a less pointed perspective on that, if you sort of take away that concept and just say, are there industries that don't cause like a net harm to their consumers? Then yes, Probably like a grocery store, for example. But again, the whole concept of the thing is they are making a profit by exploiting your need for their product or your want for their product. So yeah, at the end of the day, exploitation is it's what we do. It's how we do. If we were working together in a perfect, symbiotic, glorious, wonderful society where we had, we all worked on the various aspects of that society and we shared our labors perfectly and all that kind of stuff, maybe that wouldn't be the case. But we live in a capitalism, and doing a capitalism means doing exploitation. It's just how it do. And I think that this is like a socially acceptable thing that we have accepted as like this is the country we live in, the society, the way that we've organized ourselves. Okay. I'm not gonna say it's the right thing. I'm not gonna say it's the wrong thing. I'm just gonna say it's a thing. Yeah. So yes, putting a thing in your vagina to avoid getting raped is based. Doing anything in your power to avoid being hurt, also based, as long as you don't cross the line into now I'm hurting others. We still need cops. We still need prisons. We just need to drastically reinvestigate reevaluate how we utilize those things. That's my take on the subject. I'm gonna take another break, and when I get back, we'll do some karaoke. I have some songs lined up. I'll tell you what they are, because that's the kind of people I am. In the order in which I picked them, we have Real Big Fish, Sell Out, then REO Speedwagon, Can't Fight This Feeling, and Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire, and then Alanis Morissette's Hand in My Pocket. If there are other songs you would like me to sing, I totally will sing them. And that is why they call you a lefty, Jim. You keep using logic and reason. Yes, destroying the world with facts or with logic and reason. That's how I do. All right, I shall return. I'm gonna go do that thing. I'm gonna play music, and it'll be good. I'm gonna play the Run to You, because I know that's everyone's favorite. Run. This is my Muzak rendition of the great Bryan Adams classic Run to You. Before I go, there's a comment here from Lunacy. It might be a stupid choice, but it is irrelevant. Access to healthcare should exist to remedy the current issue. And while prevention is key, if someone walks in with lung cancer and needs help, they shouldn't be denied anything based on that assumption that they should have known better. Exactly. And that's what I'm getting at is like, and to I'm going to get the thing off my face for 1 second. To use the horrible Jesus example, the parable of the prodigal son, son goes off, blows his wad, both literally and figuratively, comes home all like, but papa, and dad goes, oh, come back, my son. And the good son was like, but bro, I was here working the fields with you all the time. And dad's like, yeah, he fucked up, but like, are we gonna like just throw him away? As a smoker, I would hope that I live in a society that's gonna look at that and go, yeah, you fucked up, you dummy. Don't do that. But we're not gonna like let you die for it. As an obese person, I'm probably obese. As an obese person, do we say, well, you did this to yourself, so you should fucking die, have a heart attack, or whatever? Probably not. That's probably a pretty awful thing, because the people who have the ability to make the best possible choices in all scenarios are the people who probably are the most exploitative. Rich people don't need McDonald's. All right, now I'm going to do the thing, and I'll be back. want me to do something ridiculously 80s like Sheena Easton, but I don't know any of her songs. Well, I feel like there is a ridiculous 80s song in there in the Can't Fight This Feeling. But if you want, I'll do Sheena Easton. Let's jump over to our weekly humiliations view. Yeah, Run to You in MIDI. Yeah, I did that. I'm not good people. I did. I was bored, and I was like, I should probably find a way to learn how to use my whatchamacallit, my Reaper installation to program music. And I was doing some stuff, and then I thought it would be fun to do Run to You, so I did. Sheena Easton. The only Sheena Easton song I think I know is Morning Train. So we're going to do that. All right. Here we go. Assuming it exists. And it does. All right. I don't know if I really know this song, but we'll find out. I had this on 45 when I was a kid, so. Wake up every... Oh no. Stumble out of bed. How does it... Stretching and... I don't know. You know what? We're not doing Sheena Easton. I do not know the song. Alright. Tell you what. I will start with the REO Speedwagon. And that way you get that... You get that 80s vibe. My baby takes the morning train. Yeah. Okay. Little REO Speedwagon. It's a beautiful song. For beautiful people. Can't fight this feeling any longer, and yet I'm still afraid to let it flow. What started out as friendship has grown stronger. I only wish I had the strength to let it show. I tell myself that I can't hold out forever. Said there is no reason for my fear, 'cause I feel so secure when we're together. You give my life direction, you make everything so clear. And even as I wander, I'm keeping you in sight. You're a candle in the window on a cold dark winter's night, and I'm getting closer than I ever thought I might. And I can't fight this feeling anymore. I've forgotten what I started fighting for. It's time to bring this ship into shore. Throw away the oars forever. 'Cause I can't fight this feeling anymore. I've forgotten what I started fighting for. And if I have to crawl upon the floor, come crashing through the door, baby, I can't fight this feeling anymore. Just imagining this 80s punch in the air move. Life has been such a whirlwind since I saw you. I've been running round in circles in my mind, and it always seems that I'm following you girl. 'Cause you take me to the places that alone I'd never find. Even as I wander, I'm keeping you in sight. You're a candle in the window on a cold, dark winter's night. Now I'm getting closer than I ever thought I might. And I can't fight this feeling anymore. I've forgotten what I started fighting for. It's time to bring this ship into the shore. Throw away the oars forever. 'Cause I can't fight this feeling anymore. I've forgotten what I started fighting for. And if I have to crawl upon the floor, come crashing through the door, baby, I can't fight this feeling anymore. Baby, I've always known in my heart of hearts that somewhere out there was you. And I've been just walking and waiting till I could find you. Or someone else. Or many other people. That was fun. Little ska. And a little bit of my lavender sour. Well, I know you can't work in fast food all your life, but don't sign that paper tonight. She said, but it's too late. And I don't remember what I read, don't remember what they said. Guess it doesn't matter, guess it doesn't matter anymore. You're gonna go to the record store, you're gonna give them all your money. Radio plays what they want you to hear. Tell me it's cool, I just don't believe it. Sell out with me, oh yeah. Sell out with me tonight. Record company's gonna give me lots of money and everything's gonna be alright. Oh, itchy eyeball. I love this song. No more flipping burgers, putting on my silly hat. You know I don't want that no more. And I didn't ask when we get paid. Quit my day job anyway. Guess it doesn't matter. Guess it doesn't matter anymore. You're gonna go to the record store. You're gonna give them all your money. Radio plays what they want you to hear. Tell me it's cool, I just don't believe it. Sell out with me, oh yeah. Sell out with me tonight. The record company's gonna give me lots of money and everything's gonna be alright. And I don't think it will be so bad. And I know it won't be so bad. 'Cause the man said that's the way it is. And the man said it don't get better than this, no, no, no. I signed on to the record company. Said they're gonna give me lots of money if I play what they want you to hear. Tell me it's cool, now I should believe it. Sell out with me, oh yeah. Sell out with me tonight. Record company's gonna give me lots of money and everything's gonna be alright. Yeah, yeah. Record company is gonna make everything alright. The record has to sign the paper tonight, she said, but I can't work in fast food all my life. Hey, that was fun. If there's songs you want me to sing, just drop them in the old chat-o. Ooh, karaokecloud.com. We didn't start the fire. This felt like a song for the new normal. This song was like huge when I was in, I don't know if it was junior high or high school, but like all the cool kids knew how to sing it. I didn't, so we're gonna learn. Harry Truman, Doris Day, Red China, Johnny Ray, South Pacific, Joe McCarthy, Richard Nixon, Studebaker, Television, North Korea, South Korea, and then Monroe. Would be really cool if this was like a version that showed the lyrics in time. Rosenberg's H-Bomb, Sugar Ray, Panman John, Brando, the King and I, and the Catcher in the Rye. The vaccine, England's got a new queen, Marciano Liberace, getting a goodbye. This is really annoying because it like literally you don't know how the next line starts. Joseph Stalin, Malenkov, Nasser and Prokofiev, Rockefeller, Campanella, Communist Bloc, Roy Cohn, Juan Perón, Toscanini, Dakaro, DNBN, Who Falls, Rock Around the Clock, Einstein, James Dean, winning team, David Crockett, Peter Pan, Elvis Presley, Disneyland, Budapest, Alabama, cruise jet, Princess Case, Peyton Place, Trouble in the Suez. We didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world's been turning. We didn't start the fire. If we didn't light it, but we tried to find it. Little Rock, Pasternak, Mickey Mantle, Kerouac, Spartanak, Chewin' Light, River Plot, Lebanon, Charles de Gaulle, California baseball, stock weather, homicide, pyramid. I'm on the wrong note. Wrong note. Sonny's been her, Space Monkey, Mafia, Hula Hoops, Castro, Edsel is a no-go. Pill Kennedy, Chubby Checker, Psycho, Belgians in the Congo. Hemingway, Eichmann, Stranger in the Strange Land, Dylan, Berlin, Bay of Pigs Invasion, Lawrence of Arabia, British Beatlemania, Ole Miss, John Glenn, Liston Beats, Patterson, Pope Paul, Malcolm X, British politician, sex, JFK, blown away. What else do I have to say? We didn't start the fire. That's the only one that I like knew all the words. Way to go, me. Grit Control, Ho Chi Minh, Richard Nixon back again, Moonshot, Woodstock, Gildergate, Punk Rock, Vegan Reagan, Palestine, terror on the airline, Ayatollahs in Iran, Russians in Afghanistan, Wheel of Fortune, Sally Ride, heavy metal, suicide, foreign depths, homeless vets, AIDS, crack, burning deaths, epidemics on the shore, China's under Martian law, rock and roll, a Cold Wars, I don't take it anymore, we didn't stop the fire. Rosanna next. Rosanna? Rosanna? Help me out with that, Rosanna. Because I'll sing Rosanna, but I don't know what Rosanna is. I mean, I'll sing it if I know it. Rosanna. Is that a song or is that the artist? Like Toto. Rosanna. Oh, yeah, okay, we can do that. lyrics that I'm missing? No, okay, cool. Okay, quickly jump here, pause, go here. Yeah, I do know. Karaoke, Toto, Rosanna. I spelled it wrong, but that's okay. It'll know. I don't know if I know this song well enough, but we'll find out. Also, Toto is notoriously not in my range. Tune is not coming. Oh, right. Got it. All I wanna do when I wake up in the morning is see your eyes. Rosanna, Rosanna. Never thought that a girl like you could ever care for me. Rosanna. I had to drop the octave. All I wanna do in the middle of the evening is hold you tight. Rosanna, Rosanna. I didn't know you were looking for more than I could ever be. Not quite a year since she went away. Rosanna, yeah. Now she's gone, and I have to say, meet you all the way. Meet you all the way. Rosanna, yeah. Meet you all the way. That bass line. Meet you all the way. Rosanna, yeah. Can see your face as if you're on the other side. Rosanna, Rosanna. I didn't know that a girl like you could make me feel so sad. Rosanna. All I wanna tell you is now you'll never ever have to compromise. Rosanna, Rosanna. I never thought that losing you could ever hurt so bad. Not quite a year since she went away. Rosanna, yeah. Now she's gone, and I have to say, meet you all the way. Meet you all the way. Rosanna, yeah. Meet you all the way. Meet you all the way. Rosanna, yeah. Oh, Rosanna. I'll meet you all the way. 'Cause all I want to do is wake up in the morning and make you breakfast in bed. With my dick. No. I thought there was lyrics coming in right there, I'm not gonna lie. Not quite a year since she went away. Rosanna, yeah. Now she's gone, and I have to say, meet you all the way, yeah. Meet you all the way, Rosanna, yeah. Meet you all the way. Meet you all the way, Rosanna, yeah. Meet you all the way. Meet you all the way, Rosanna, yeah. All right, that was fun. Good call. And this will be another banger. I'm broke, but I'm happy. I'm poor, but I'm kind. I'm short, but I'm healthy, yeah. I'm high, but I'm grounded. I'm sane, but I'm overwhelmed. I'm lost, but I'm hopeful, baby. What it all comes down to is that everything's gonna be fine, fine, fine. That's right, we're not dreamers here. 'Cause I got one hand in my pocket and the other one is giving a high five. I feel drunk, but I'm sober. I'm young and I'm underpaid. I'm tired, but I'm working, yeah. I care, but I'm restless. I'm here, but I'm really gone. I'm wrong and I'm sorry, baby. What it all comes down to is that everything's gonna be quite alright. 'Cause I got one hand in my pocket and the other one's flicking a cigarette. Don't litter. It's a fucking great song. And it's like positive but realistic. Gotta love that. What it all comes down to is that I haven't got it all figured out just yet. 'Cause I've got one hand in my pocket and the other one is giving the peace sign. I'm free but I'm focused. I'm green but I'm wise. I'm hard, but I'm friendly, baby. I'm sad, but I'm laughing. I'm brave, but I'm chicken shit. I'm sick, but I'm pretty, baby. What it all boils down to is that no one's really got me just yet. I have no idea how I know all these words, but I've got one hand in my pocket and the other one is playing the piano. What it all comes down to, my friends, yeah, is that everything is just fine, fine, fine. 'Cause I got one hand in my pocket and the other one is hailing a taxi cab. You might like this, it's solidly in the pocket. Is that a karaoke song or is that just like a music fan? Alright, that was a banger. Way to go, me. Let's just go karaoke 80s. There'll be playlists. See? Oh, you know what? If I can do Lionel Richie without sounding like a white guy trying to sound like a black guy, that would be a real feather in my hat. Because I don't want it to be like that. We're going to do All Night Long. Tokyo Grove, Joshi, one of my favorite bass players. Tokyo Groove? I don't think I know. I'll have to listen. Definitely. Alright, we'll see if I can do this and not, like, accidentally do a hate crime. Do I even know how this starts? I think I do. Well, my friends, the time has come. Raise the roof and have some fun. Throw away the work to be done. Let the music play on. Everybody sing, everybody dance. Lose yourself in wild romance. We're going to party around fiesta forever. Come on and sing along. We're going to party, caramba, fiesta forever. Come on and sing along. All night long, all night, all night, all night long. All night, all night long. All night long. Ooh. People dancing all in the street. See the rhythm all in their feet. Life is good, wild and sweet. Let the music play on. Feel it in your heart and feel it in your soul. Let the music take control. We're going to party, living, fiesta, forever. Come on and sing my song. Night long, oh, all night long. Yeah, all night long. Yeah, all night long. Once you get started, you can't sit down. Come join in the fun, it's a merry-go-round. Everyone's dancing their troubles away. Come join our party, see how we play. Jambolite say de moya. Yeah, jumbo jumbo, where the party are we going? Oh, jambalaya, jambolite say de moya. Yeah, jumbo jumbo, oh shit. We're gonna have a party, yeah, all night long, all night, all night long. All night, all night long, all night, all night, all night long. Everyone you meet, they're jamming in the street all night long. I said, everyone you meet, they're jamming in the street all night long. Feel good? Feel good. All night, 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 all I thought I knew this song, and I did all right, but not as good as I could have. Let's see what else we have here in this great playlist. There's some bangers in here. Some that I will not do, like Aha's Take on Me. Ooh, I don't know if I remember this one or not, but this will be for the ladies. For the ladies. Nobody puts baby in a corner. You want me to stop? Oh no. Do you really want me to stop? How many tell you got this feeling so side. Shit, I don't know the tune. I do not know the tune, so I will actually stop. Yeah, that could have gone very, very poorly. Oh, this. If I know the tune for the verse on this, this will be a good one. I think I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Gotta take a little time to think things over. Better read between the lines in case I need it when I'm older. Now this mountain I must climb feels like the world upon my shoulders. Through the clouds I see love shine. It keeps me warm as life grows colder. In my there's been heartache and pain. I don't know if I can face it again. Can't stop now. I've traveled so far to change this lonely life. I wanna know what love is. I want you to show me. I wanna feel what love is. I know you can show me. Slow dance right now. Gonna take a little time. I'm an octave higher than I should be. A little time to look around me. Higher register? Okay, I can try it, but it's gonna go back. Got nowhere left to hide. It looks like love has finally found me. Yeah, there's been heartache and pain. I don't know if I can face it again. No, that's not happening. Can't stop now. I've traveled so far to change this lonely life. I wanna know what love is. I want you to show me. I wanna feel what love is. I know you can show me. I wanna know what love is. I want you to show me. I wanna feel what love is. I know you can show me. I wanna know what love is. Those little transitions, I don't have a clue what they are. I love you feel inside. Want you to show me. And I'm feeling so much love. I wanna feel what love is. No, just cannot hide. Oh, you can show me. I wanna know what love is. This is gonna go on for a long time, I think. I want you to show me. I wanna feel what love is. Feeling so much love. I know you can show me. Oh, you know what? I just had a really good idea for a karaoke song. I don't know if they have it. We'll find out. The Moulin Rouge version of Roxanne. El Tango de Roxanne. We'll find out if I can do this. This is either a really good idea or a really terrible idea.
Word to the wise, my dear.
That's not karaoke.
Never fall in love with a woman who
Unless
sells
it's-
herself.
Give it a second.
Always ends badly.
Roxanne. Oh no. Did it start? I feel like it started and it's just like, yeah, that's not gonna work. Yeah. Oh, this might be better. We'll try this one. Got love in my pocket and I don't know what to do with it. I could do the Monks. Great violin. We'll drive you. We'll drive you. We'll drive you mad. Roxanne. You don't have to put on that red light. Walk the streets for money. You don't care if it's wrong or if it is right. Roxanne. You don't have to wear that dress tonight. Roxanne. You don't have to sell your body to the night. His eyes upon your face, his hand upon your hand, his lips caress your skin. It's more than I can stand. Roxanne, why does my heart cry? Feelings I can't fight. You're free to leave me, but just don't deceive me, and please believe me when I say I love you. Take care. I am Canadian. Always a pleasure. Take care. Have a great day. Lo que te quiero tanto, ¿qué voy a hacer? Me dejaste en un tango. En el alma se me fue el corazón. Ya no tengo ganas de vivir porque no te puedo convencer que no te vendas, Roxana. Didn't know I could do that, did you? Is it still going? It is. Now it's going to be like 8 different parts all at once, and I don't know which one it's going to want me to sing. This was a really terrible idea. Really genuinely terrible idea. But that violin, I mean, it's worth it just for the violin alone. Why does my heart cry? Feelings I can't fight. You don't have to put on that red light, Roxanne. You don't have to wear that dress tonight. I might be mixing up movies. Alright. Another one? Another song? Another awesome jam of coolness. Let's go for what was in 2000s. View full playlist. This doesn't look promising. Beyonce. I don't know these names. I mean, I know them, but like I don't know these songs. Maybe this was a shit idea. Okay, let's do a punk rock song. Any suggestions from chat? No. Okay. Then I'm on my own. Just gonna scroll down a bunch. How was Johnny Cash and June Carter a punk rock song? I mean, no. Judas Priest? Rose Tattoo. Is that Social Distortion? Oh, Dropkick Murphys. Okay, I don't actually know this song well enough to sing it. Okay, no. I do know Shipping Up to Boston, but there's not a lot there. Okay, this will work. It's a Me First and the Gimme Gimmes song. You can sing along if you know.
Where it began.
Oh, that's not how karaoke works.
Where it began.
That's not how karaoke works at all. That's annoying. Okay, we'll do a Pennywise cover. Stand By Me.
When the night.
What the fuck is wrong
When
with
the
people?
night has come.
Not how karaoke works. Weezer. It's a bunch of SNFU there. Oh, that's the end of that list. Okay, well, I'm going to try another one. Karaoke pop punk / emo. This could go horribly bad. Yeah, this is all punk from long. Although Police Truck, I did that one once. I think. Maybe there's some gems in here. Anything from chat? No, just we love punk rock. Well, we love it. We do. Jesus, half these names I don't even know because they're just not my kind of punk rock. How is Modest Mouse punk rock? Come the fuck on. A lot of Blink 182, Bowling for Soup, Avril Lavigne. Okay, you know what? Let's do some Avril Lavigne. We're going to do Skater Boy. Super punk rock hardcore. I don't even know if I know this song. My kids used to love this song. My eldest too. He was a boy, she was a girl. Can I make it any more obvious? He was a punk, she did ballet. What more can I say? I don't know. He wanted her, she'd never tell. Secretly she wanted him as well. But all of her friends stuck up their nose. They had a problem with his baggy clothes. He was a skater boy, she said see you later boy. He wasn't good enough for her. She had a pretty face, but her head was up in space. She needed to come back down to earth. I don't know this song. 5 years from now, she sits at home, feeding the baby, she's all alone. She turns on TV, guess who she sees? Skater boy rocking up MTV. She calls up her friends, they already know, and they've all got tickets to see his show. She tags along and stands in the crowd, looks up at the man that she turned down. He was a skater boy, she said see you later boy. He wasn't good enough for her. Now as a superstar, slamming on his guitar, does your pretty face see what he's worth? He was he wasn't good enough for her. Now he's a superstar, slamming on his guitar, does his pretty face see what he's worth? What a gross song. What a fucking terrible song. Like, he was a piece of shit, and I didn't love him. But then he was rich, and I was like, the one that got away. Sorry, girl, but you missed out. Well, tough luck. That, boys, I'm now. We are more than just good friends. This is how this story ends. Too bad you couldn't see me. See the man that boy could be. There's more than meets the eye. I see the soul that is inside. Just a boy, and I'm just a girl. Can I make it any more obvious? We are in love, haven't you heard? How we rock each other's world. I'm with the skater boy. I said see you later, boy. I'll be backstage after the show. I'll be in studio singing the songs that we wrote about a girl you used to know. I'm with the skater boy. I said see you later, boy. I'll be backstage after the show. I'll be in studio singing the song we wrote about a girl you used to know. Yeah, that was a decision. Okay, let's try and find like an actual punk rock song. And then I'll call it a day probably. Jesus, this is not the playlist for me. Okay, let's go, yeah. Search for karaoke punk, get Bryan Adams. You know what? No, I'm not gonna do the My Way sing along. That's not gonna work. Punk rock girl. Alkaline Trio. Let's see what they have for like more Dead Kennedys. I've done Dead Kennedys before. Jesus. It's not looking good. It's not looking good at all. Let's go punk cover. Maybe there's cool punk covers. Wow. Closing time. Feeling like a punker, 'cause my boss at the record company said that's what I was. Okay. What's it? Help me out here. Alright. Good punk songs. Why am I drawing a blank on punk rock songs? Jesus fuck. Whose child am I? Let's look for Social Distortion. Not technically punk, but they got Story of My Life. Do you want to sing the Story of My Life? Yeah. We'll see if I can sing this. I have no idea if it's in my range. Story of my life. Well, high school seemed like such a blur. I didn't have much interest in sports or school elections, and in class I dreamed all day of a rock and roll weekend. Oh, and a girl in the front of So close yet so far, you know, she never seemed to notice a silly schoolboy crush wasn't just pretend. Life goes by so fast. You only wanna do what you think is right. Close your eyes and it's past. Story of my life. Story of my life. La 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 la. Story of my life. Story of my life. The answer is rockabilly. And I went down to my old neighborhood. The faces have all changed, there's nothing there left to talk to. And the pool hall that I loved as a kid is now a 7-Eleven. Oh, and I went downtown to look for a job. I had no training, no experience to speak of. And I looked at the holes in my jeans and I turned and headed back. Oh, life goes by so fast. You only wanna do what you think is right. Close your eyes and it's past. Story of my life. Story of my life. La 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 la. Story of my life. Story of my life. A minute long break. Okay. Shit, what's that other social distortion song? Mommy's Little Monster. Oh shit, I hit enter. That's okay. Well, you know what? You get a twofer. I'm gonna do Mommy's Little Monster. Not really in my range, but yeah, it'd be rockabilly, which is an offshoot of punk rock, definitely. But is its own special and unique flower in the musical pantheon. I hope I can hit the notes. I think I'm gonna have to go low. Mommy's little monster dropped out of school. Mommy's little monster broke all the rules. He loves to go out drinking with the boys. Loves to go out and make some noise. He doesn't want to be a doctor or a lawyer getting fat and rich. He's 20 years old and he quit his job. Unemployment pays his rent. His brothers and sisters have tasted sweet success. His parents condemn him, say his life's a mess. He's mommy's little monster. He's not afraid to admit it. Mommy's little monster, don't wake him in a fit. Can I do Mark it up? Yeah, maybe. We'll try it. If it sucks, I'll drop down. Mama's little monster shoots methadone. Mama's little monster had sex at 15. She left home for the streets. She couldn't deal with all that hate. She has fun with the boys in the band. In her eyes it'll never end. Dad asked what happened to her face. It could have happened in any place. Her eyes are a deeper blue. She likes to have that color too. She can even wear a dress. That doesn't mean she'll ever confess. She's mommy's little monster. She's mommy's little monster. Mommy's little monster. Don't take your life away. 25 seconds solo. Beginning now. one more song I'm gonna do. It popped into my head. Totally different vibe. We're gonna go for it. Should I do up or down? I'll do that. Her eyes are a deeper blue. She likes to have that color too. She can even wear a dress. That doesn't mean she'll ever confess. She's mommy's little monster. She's mommy's little monster. Mommy's little monster. Don't take your life away. I think I did this song once before on this karaoke. What was I gonna do? Okay. Yeah, I did do this once before, I think. But it's a fun song. Who doesn't like the talking? It's what a good way to end streams. By the way, Lunacy, it's good to have you here. Thank you for the follow. Sugar, always a pleasure. I am Canadian. Good to see you, my friend. I know you're not here right now, but whatever. It's all fun. It's all good, G. I know this song because of Clerks 2. I'm willing to admit that. I'm gonna have to knock it down real quick. Find out. Here we stand, like an Adam and Eve. Waterfall, the Garden of Eden. Two fools in love, so beautiful and strong. Birds in the tree, smiling upon them. From the age of the dinosaurs, cars have run on gasoline. Where have they gone now? Nothing but flowers. 'Twas a history. Now there are mountains and rivers. You got it, you got it. We caught a rattlesnake. Now we've got something for dinner. We got it, we got it. It was a shopping mall. Now it's all covered with flowers. You got it, you got it. If this is paradise, I wish I had a lawnmower. You got it, you got it. Years ago, I was an angry young man, and I'd pretend that I was a billboard, standing tall by the side of the road. I fell in love with the beautiful highway. This used to be real estate. I don't know this. Now it's only fields and trees. Where is the town now? It's nothing but flowers. The highways and cars were sacrificed for agriculture. I thought that we'd start over, but I guess I was wrong. Once there were parking lots, now it's a peaceful oasis. You got it, you got it. This was a Pizza Hut, now it's all covered with daisies. You got it, you got it. I miss the honky-tonks, Dairy Queens, and 7-Elevens. You got it, you got it. And as things fell apart, nobody paid much attention. You got it, you got it. It's a fucking awesome song. You're aware that I can't hear you, right? Still good. I dream of cherry pies, candy bars, and chocolate chip cookies. You got it, we used to microwave, now we just eat nuts and berries. You got it, this was a discount store, now it's turned into a cornfield. You got it, don't leave me stranded here, I can't get used to this lifestyle. All right. That's a fine time to call it a stream. Except that it started playing the next song, but we're going to pretend like it didn't. Because I'm done. It has been a good stream. I enjoyed very much. Thank you, all of you, for the many of you that were here. And by that I mean 3 people that were chatting and having fun. I am a small streaming Andy. I'll probably always be a small streaming Andy. You don't have to ever feel like you have to subscribe to me. Don't give me money. Just take that money and put it into mutual aid. And if you enjoyed this, come back. We usually do this Saturdays. I'm hoping that I can get into maybe starting up like a panel or something that'll be like talking about stuff. But that depends on time. I'm in 3 bands and it's hard to carve out space for other stuff. But I enjoy doing this. It's a lot of fun. If you had fun, please come hang out. And yeah, love all of the interactions, all of the stuff. And we're all just here having a good time. So thank you. And be good to yourselves and each other. Fade to black.